We're back. Welcome to Chatter Machine. Holy shit.
Holy shit.
Last we left off, we were making our excited predictions about Full Gear and enthusing about going to our first AEW pay-per-view and then our first indie wrestling event. As it turned out, we needed the whole week afterward to rest our voices.
Not that it helped. I have that husky, sultry voice.
Yeah, you do.
I'm sober now, but I used to have those hard nights and I'd get this voice the next day. And now I know I can just go see wrestling to get it again.
Yeah, mine is still a little messed up too. I'm Kat.
And I'm Adam.
And while we've been pounding tea and lozenges, so much wrestling has happened.
And we're going to talk about that. But how about our first live pay-per-view experience?
Yeah. We arrived in Newark in the afternoon on Saturday and got checked into our hotel, which was the smartest thing to get a room. And then we just walked around. We walked around the Ironbound for a while and learned what Brazilian hot dogs were, which was pretty awesome.
Pretty spectacular, really.
Oh, yeah. So we got really well fortified for our adventure. And then made our way slowly over to the Prudential Center. Really enjoyed kind of being in the crowd waiting outside. We met some really cool people that we'll probably never see again chatting in the line.
But they had the enthusiasm about wrestling and wrestling in general. It was infectious and hyping up.
Absolutely. I mean, we didn't really need extra enthusiasm, but I appreciated talking to cool people. I've heard a lot of discourse about wrestling fans being stinky. It's kind of a stereotype that if you go to a wrestling event, people are going to smell bad. And I don't doubt that that's true, but either people kind of behave in Jersey or I'm simply desensitized because in the 90s I went to several dozen Fish concerts. So stinky is relative, babes. Anyway, we are going to continue talking about that experience kind of throughout as we talk about the storylines and the matches that we saw. And then on Sunday, we stayed in Jersey and we experienced our first live indie show at Jersey Championship Wrestling, Home for the Holidays. And we will also talk more about that, but it was like a really nice chaser to the big Full Gear experience we had.
Yeah, such a lovely contrast, a great way to round out the weekend. And yeah, we'll talk more about that and the Mecca and what that was like.
Yes. Adam, you kind of made the agenda for this week, so why don't you go ahead and introduce how you want to do things?
Yeah, so one of the benefits of having waited like a week for this is there's been a lot of recaps already, and people don't necessarily need a full recap of Full Gear. And there's been more stuff that's happened since, and I thought, let's go through some of the stories, our stories. And the threads and developments that have happened over the past week.
So let's jump around. Bear with us, okay?
Yeah. So one of the big developments that happened at Full Gear, sort of its own little story going on, is the answer to the question of the Broke Bucks. And are they going to join the Don Callis family? Are they going to make amends with Kenny Omega?
Mm-hmm.
So we had the big $1 million trios match. I almost said $1,000. I'm always gonna round way down with
Adam's
these.
keeping it low rent here on Chatter Machine.
Yeah, so we had Kenny Omega teaming with Jurassic Express.
Yes.
And the Bucks teaming with Josh Alexander, that rascal. Boo.
I am pretty proud that my prediction for this match was almost entirely on the money.
It really was.
I think
on the money.
I think most people were predicting that the Bucks would lose, but I thought the Bucks winning and then having to make the choice whether to save Kenny from a predictable DCF beatdown would kind of precipitate whatever was going to happen with the story. And that was correct. Where I wasn't correct was I thought that this would also be precipitated by the Bucks feeling like, oh, I have $1 million, so I don't need Don Callis.
Right.
Where it was really a much more wholesome, like, fuck the money, we don't need the money, let's be broke and have love and friendship.
Yeah. And I really thought, it makes for a really good story. Like, okay, you won. Now you literally have the money in your hands.
Yeah.
But your friend is being beat down.
Yeah.
Do you let go of the money? It's a good moment.
It was. And I have a lot of negative things to say about the crowd at Full Gear, I'm sorry to say, but this match, the crowd was correct. We were on point.
Yeah, and the shouting, you sold out. And,
it was good. Like we were really part of the story. Hug It Out was great. And I'm glad when we did rewatch the broadcast, I was relieved to see that the short oh, power of friendship. That little bit did make it in, which
that was great.
Maybe it was like a little hard to notice because it was just a moment, but we were going for it, you know?
And some things I didn't catch. I think you caught them, but at the event that I saw later, I really appreciated the moment of. I did see Kenny Omega like slap the Bucks' hands out of the way and then like have a moment and then decide to hug. But and on watch back on the actual pay-per-view recording, it looks a lot more like fuck your handshake. I demand a hug.
Yeah,
this is a bigger moment than a handshake.
Yeah. It was kind of hard to tell what the slapping the hands away meant.
Yeah,
so our seats were wonderful. I would pick these same seats again. I was so glad.
They were great.
We were like opposite the hard cam, and in some of the shots you can see us reacting in horror or standing up to cheer or whatever, but that just meant that for a lot of the kind of big splashy moments where they wanted to face the hard cam, we didn't get the full view of what was happening. So it was nice to kind of get that angle again on the broadcast.
Yeah. And as the Elite were all walking out, I had not also parsed that they had the moment where like, do we go out? Which tunnel do we go out? And
I saw them. I think we definitely enjoyed the fact that they went down the face tunnel, but we didn't see the part in the broadcast where it was like Jack Perry saying, "Hey guys, you're going down the wrong tunnel," and kind of pointing
this
them.
Way, that
part was a little too subtle for the live experience. So, but wonderful. And then on Dynamite, we had Lexi Nair coming to Kenny Omega's dressing room and the Bucks emerging like they're doing a walk of shame, which was such a strange way for them to frame, like, why are they there? Like, I don't know why they made it sexy, but I'm not complaining.
It plays that way. I can kind of get like, okay, we're all wondering, is this real? Is this going to last? And it's kind of like, yes, we are here. But it plays a little odd.
And like I wasn't expecting that, and I don't think I would have, even though I'm fully like in the sicko perv mode all the time. I still don't think I would have thought to portray it that way. It's very funny that they decided to do that. Anyway, so that's obviously joyful. I don't think anything else really happened with that story as yet.
Yeah.
But I am happy to, of course, we're all happy to see it.
It promises, interesting developments in the future.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then, so another big sort of moment that, we can talk about is the Casino Gauntlet. So there was this question of, okay, who's going to be in the Casino Gauntlet? Who's going to win the Casino Gauntlet? Because there's a new belt, the National Championship.
Too many belts.
Too many belts. So turns out there were a bunch of fun people in the match. Mm-hmm. We had Bobby and Shelton. They really, didn't have long enough fighting each other, I think.
I'm not totally sure what the point of that was, because as in the preview episode, I thought it was actually pretty cool that they wound up being number 1 and number 2, but I thought that meant they were actually going to battle each other for more than 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think there was more promised there than was mined out of the
I understand having Ricochet come third makes sense from a perspective of like, that makes sense for sports, like, okay, the winner's coming in third, but why did we make it Bobby and Shelton if they weren't going to actually do anything?
To me, it struck me as sort of working backwards from the end result that you wanted. Like, we want to have a thing where Ricochet wins and the GOA help to take out Bobby and Benjamin.
I guess that's why,
we also want it to be a Casino Gauntlet. So we'll sandwich the Casino Gauntlet in between those two things.
Yeah, and I guess, in fact, as we're talking about it, I guess that's why. Because if they're the only 2 men in the ring, then the GOA could come in and take them out and have it look like a fun set piece. Whereas if there were more people, it would have been strange.
I love a Casino Gauntlet. It was fun. We had Claudio Castagnoli, we had Daniel Garcia, and then Orange Cassidy, and then Wheeler Yuta comes out, and Death Riders are all beaten up on Orange Cassidy. Some good set pieces. Poor Orange. Then we had Kevin Knight, Roderick Strong, Mark Davis, and Speedball Mike Bailey.
I was very excited to see all of these people.
Yeah, it was all great. Kevin Knight and Speedball had a little moment where we're like, what?
Much more tension.
Much more tension than Bobby
anyone else,
Shelton.
Frankly. Except, I suppose, when Papa Magi came out and squared off with Danny Garcia.
Yeah.
That was the most tension.
It's one of those things where you get a bunch of guys out in the ring and you dangle some of the plot threads that we're all waiting for developments on. And then ultimately, Bobby and Shelton, who've been on the floor the whole match, match. Suddenly
chilling,
pop back up
like you
and
do.
come back in.
Yeah.
But then, they get pulled out, and we get a moment where Kevin Knight almost wins. And I was kind of like, are we getting an upset? He's taking down Wheeler Yuta.
Yeah.
And Ricochet pops up and Spirit guns him and pins him. And there we go.
I was very happy to see Ricochet
But
take
yeah,
it.
I was totally happy. I was ready for him to get something good.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he's been such a wonderful little shit since then.
It is funny to basically really want such a little shit to like win something.
Yeah.
It's kind of magical. I'm like, I'm supposed to hate you, but I'm so happy for you.
It really speaks to the different flavors of heel heat.
Yeah.
There are some heels that you are just excited to see, and some heels you're genuinely like, please fuck all the way off. Yeah. And we'll get to more of that.
Yeah, we'll get to more of what's going on with Ricochet, but that's the gauntlet.
Yeah. And I think I forgot what the difference was between the Casino Gauntlet type match and like a battle royale.
Mm-hmm.
But that I knew coming in. I wasn't really sure what it was going to be format wise. I also kind of expected there to be some more surprises in terms of who was participating, maybe people from other promotions. But I think what they did was fine. Like this was better than having like a bad surprise entrant, which the way people speculate, there could have been a lot of people coming in that I did not want to see.
Yeah.
So this worked out just great. The belt is beautiful.
It is beautiful.
I know it's based on historical belts, but they really did a lovely job with that, and I am happy to see it, and I'm happy to see it on Ricochet.
Yeah, more on Ricochet later.
Yes.
Then, so another thing that has some good developments going on, we're really excited about, is the women's tag team tournament, and we got some movement on that at Full Gear, where we had the 4-way women's match.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match. Unfortunately, I will just to gripe.
Please.
I will say that this was the first moment where I realized, like, oh, a lot of people hate women.
Yeah.
Because the number of people who got up for a bathroom break as soon as the women started coming out, I was like, oh, really? Like, and I feel very naive, not having been at a huge event like this before. Even at like Death Before Dishonor at the 2300, we had some vibes like that because the women were the main event and it was the end of the night and it was late. But that crowd was so hot, even though it was small, that it didn't feel like as much of a problem. And unfortunately, I started spiraling a little bit as this match was starting. I'm thinking, because I was so mad that they had only booked 2 women's matches for this whole event. And as soon as I saw everybody get up to go to the bathroom, I went, oh, that's why they only booked 2 women's matches. Like, this was a business decision.
Right.
And it really kind of tainted how I felt about a lot of the rest of the night, unfortunately. But I don't want to take away from the actual match. They could have done the semifinals at Full Gear, which we talked about last time. I think this was fine. Like, I think what they wound up doing was fine. I think the stipulation, if you will, was actually quite fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think we talked about they could have squeezed the remaining matches in to have it at Full Gear.
They absolutely could have.
I will say one of the things that people sometimes complain about with AEW is the sort of way that it feels like things are getting stretched out and prolonged a lot.
Yeah.
And sometimes that just does feel that way. But there's also something about not just letting things simmer, but then when you draw them out, you get to like add in more stuff. Like if we just had all the semifinals squeezed into 2 episodes, would we get a fun? Now I'm really excited to look forward to.
I think this was. I actually do think this was the right decision.
Yeah.
I think this was the right call because there are so many big matches in this event, and there's real fatigue. The fatigue is real.
Yeah.
And so to have something that's like fun, where the stakes are not super high, but everybody's there, I was happy to just see all of them.
Yeah, me too. And the Babes of Wrath and the Timeless Love Bombs, obviously, but both of them get such a pop. However, the people crowd
were here
disappointed.
People were there for Toni and Willow and Harley, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so then, the Timeless Love Bombs got the win.
Yeah, which I think, I don't think anyone really knew who would win this, but I think a lot of people, myself included, were kind of expecting Sisters of Sin, so that was interesting.
Yeah, it's funny. I think in our preview, we were saying we thought the Timeless Love Bombs would win this match, and then by the time it was like pre-show, we were kind of like, ooh, maybe our little goth queens.
I'm always forgetting what I said yesterday anyway.
Same. It's all good. But yeah, Toni and Mina took the match and then cut this wonderful promo promo.
Beautiful.
Cut several wonderful promos, actually, about, kind of keeping Marina and Megan Bayne in suspense.
Yeah, taunting them.
You're going to have to wait to hear what the stip is.
Calling them cut queens.
Cut queens.
Threatening Marina with being barefoot and pregnant.
I mean, Toni.
I believe it, Toni.
Toni has the power to impregnate women with words.
With words.
God bless you, Toni.
And hip attacks? I don't know.
And hip attacks.
And then we do finally get the stip on Dynamite.
Yes, which oh my God, I have to rewatch this segment because when Toni came out to talk trash, I was so distracted that she wasn't coming out in black and white. And she then says, "Here I am in living color."
Yeah.
And then I was so confused that she was cutting a promo not at Marina but at Mox.
Yeah, it was kind of both, really. Marina was there in support of Mox for a match we'll talk about later, but
Johnny. It took me a moment. It took me a moment to figure what the fuck is going on. And I am desperate for this feud. I am desperate for a Toni Mox cage match.
They really should. I'm ready.
Do it. Tony Khan,
Book it.
Book it. And so then during this promo, Toni presents the stipulation, which is a no disqualification hardcore holiday death match.
Woo!
I am fucking pumped. I'm so hyped.
Yeah.
Also on Dynamite, we had the Babes of Wrath versus the Sisters of Sin in their semifinal with I think, a surprise result.
Yeah, I definitely here, even more so than the four-way, thought Sisters of Sin were going to win this. But I'm really happy with this because just to step back about the tag tournament, I like that this whole time I have no idea who's really going to win it. I also like that, it doesn't necessarily matter because this is the start of stories. This isn't okay, and then they won and that's who won. It's going to, whoever wins is going to keep being challenged and we're going to get fuel thrown on the fire.
There's something special about being the inaugural winners of a new title tournament, but it's not the end of the story at all. And this match was really fun. One thing I like about a tournament is that it gives you an excuse for those unexpected results that might wind up with a face versus face matchup or, heel versus heel. But let's talk about this actual match for a second.
Yeah. So this was the match where during one of the entrances, we got a fan in the crowd with the Effie fan that said wrestling is gay.
Make it gayer. Yeah. And I appreciate that they just look for gays in the audience.
Yeah. That was good work on the production team. And then I really liked Sisters of Sin rolling their eyes at Babes of Wrath as they're coming out with their, Babes of Wrath they've got their matching outfits. They've got their, unified intro. They've got a lot of good stuff going on. And we got the brats over there, the goth brats.
True shitheel behavior.
Yeah. And we had Harley getting an early hold and kissing Julia Hart on the head. The fantastic double senton.
Yeah, that looked gnarly. It actually looked like it hurt Harley more than anybody,
probably,
but it certainly looked
landing
fun.
on her butt.
And then there was this moment that I'm sure everyone's talking about where Julia she did a moonsault and she kind of fucked up the landing a little bit, or maybe Harley was in the wrong spot. There was just a moment where Julia kind of stutter stepped on the landing and then turned it into an elbow drop. Whatever, what's the big deal? And I really
turned it into an elbow drop. Good job.
And I appreciate very much Nigel McGuinness for very professionally explaining it away for the TV audience.
Yeah, that was good.
It almost makes up for referring to Mina Shirakawa as vivacious and buxom.
Yeah.
Buxom.
We're always making up for the previous missteps we've had, but that was good.
Nigel has a lot of strikes in that column for me, so I appreciate when he actually speaks up and says something that's actually nice and professional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Babes of Wrath pulled out the win, and I personally hope we're going to end up with Timeless Love Bombs and Babes of Wrath in the finals. I think that would be very fun.
That's going to be really strange. It's going to be a super strange matchup if that's what happens, but I feel like that's what they're leading us to. I kind of have a hard time imagining that Megan and Marina will overcome Toni and Mina in this holiday hardcore death match.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, I could see it going anyway. Again, it's fuel for future storylines and feuds.
Exactly.
No matter what
and
happens.
Frankly, no matter what happens, I'm psyched to see them all.
Yeah.
How about the men's tag division? So there was a lot of movement at Full Gear.
It's a lot of movement, a lot of men's tag matches.
Okay. Let's do the less heartbreaking ones first.
Yeah. So we had just for fun, inconsequential tag match where we had RPG Vice
Woo!
Rocky Romero and Trent Beretta with
so
Don Callis,
happy to see you, Trent.
Going up against Boom and Doom, Big Boom AJ and QT Marshall, with a lot of allies on the field. Aaron Solo, Big Justice, the Rizzler.
Yeah,
none of these people I know.
I don't know if I'm just old or it speaks to them. I don't think it's because I'm old, because there were plenty of adults who were very excited about all of these people. But like, I think it just speaks to consuming different kinds of media and like having a different algorithm. I'm just like, wow, everybody's really into these people.
You start bringing people out from Game Changer or Dropout or Dimension 20, then we'll
be in it. Yeah, bring Lou Wilson.
Yes, absolutely. Brian. Anyway,
okay.
But so this was frankly unfair. Boom and Doom had so many allies, and poor Greg and Rocky were outnumbered. Well, we were cheering for Trent and Greg and Trent and Greg. And Greg and Rocky.
We were always cheering for Trent and Greg.
And people near us were confused.
Yeah, actually, the people next to us were these really cute, this really cute couple from North Carolina who just kind of spontaneously decided to fly in for the match. And they actually turned to us and they were like, "Do you know them?"
Yeah. We're supposed to be booing them. They are the heels.
And I said, "Do we know Trent Beretta?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, I thought Jersey, you know." And like the funny thing is, Trent Beretta and I are both from Long Island, not New Jersey. Right. So, you know, maybe we do know each other. But no. Anyway, it was very funny.
It was a fun match. I mean, yeah, anytime Trent is attacking children and then getting attacked back by children, it's a fun time.
That was the most predictable outcome of the entire night, probably, that Trent would assault a child and then lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't care if it's predictable. I wanted to see it.
It was fun.
That was my comfort, child assault.
Yes, yes. It was very comforting. And compared to the rest, some of the rest of the actual, not to belittle Trent and Rocky and Big Boom and QT Marshall, but the actual tag division action.
Okay.
So we had the $200,000, not $2,000, full tag team,
low rent tag team match.
Four-way with Max Caster and Anthony Bowens.
Yep.
I love seeing them continue their will they, won't they.
They almost scissored.
It was so close. And then I did not catch what happened with Max Caster, but he didn't show up when Bowens needed him. And then after the match, Bowens was like, "Where were you?"
Yeah.
So this is going to continue to simmer.
And it's messy as hell, and I'm sure some people are sick of it, and I don't care. I'm not sick of it. I'm
sick
ready.
Of it.
Please continue the mess.
Yeah.
And then make up.
I'm enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And Big Bill and Brian Keith were in this.
We had a lot of Brian Keith this weekend.
We did. Yeah, we'll get to that more later. But they were fun in this match.
Yeah. Those two, I'm never that excited when I'm sorry, but I'm never that excited when Big Bill and Brian Keith are in a tag match with other tag teams that I like to see more. I'm just like, okay.
I think something about what little story, and I think it's not a lot that we've seen with them. You know, I just don't know enough about what's going on with them and where it's going to really be fully invested. But yeah.
We are recent.
Also that.
We are new to this, and when we started watching, before we started the podcast, thank God, but we did go back and start watching some older stuff, AEW stuff, and I confess we've been fast forwarding through a lot of Chris Jericho and Learning Tree related things because it's just not for us.
Yeah, I think part of the issue mechanically is that they are heels and they don't exactly have foils to work against right now. They're just kind of heels in the wind.
They don't have great heat generating opportunities.
Yeah, and I that's maybe a contrast because I'm like, you could say some of the same things about the Outrunners. They're also to some degree just dudes, but they're not heels, and
they also have a really
gimmick.
Really ridiculous over the top gimmick.
And now so they came out with Dalton Castle, who was on commentary a bit, saying ridiculous things.
Yes, and that was another reason I was happy to go and watch the actual broadcast.
Yes, to get that stuff. And Bang Bang Gang. We had Austin Gunn and Juice Robinson coming out
with Ace Austin,
who kind of just was dropping the kids off at school and went back into the back. But
Juice with an absolutely magnificent new side shaved mullet.
Yeah.
When is he going to challenge Speedball for mullet supremacy?
We need a mullet off.
I didn't realize. I've never truly realized what a large man Juice Robinson is, because he's such a kooky little guy. Like, he's a silly little guy.
He has weird little guy energy.
He has weird little guy energy. He's such a gremlin, but he's a huge man.
He's large. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that became more clear to me on Collision when they had their moment with FTR, which we'll get to.
We'll get to that. But yeah, so Bang Bang Gang pulled it off. They won the 4-way. They won the $200,000.
As expected.
And so more on that in a minute.
They humped the money.
They humped the money. Yeah, and we love them. My guns are up for Bang Bang.
Guns are up.
Yeah.
They bring some of that crazy energy that it's like they corrected a wrong with the whole suck it thing. Like, they bring a similar energy of like fun and over the top weird masculinity. And they're chopping their, you could chop your crotches, but it's no longer a toxic masculine thing.
Yeah. And let's also remember, we also feel good about this because Juice is going to be fiscally responsible and invest this money wisely.
That's right. So we know we can rest easy knowing that he's going to research the works of John Bogle and invest in a broad-based index fund.
Look it up.
Okay. Anyway, can we talk about my first heartbreak of the
heartbreak?
Night?
Yeah.
We didn't burn down the Prudential Center, guys. Okay, so please pat us on the head. We didn't do it.
We didn't. We wanted to. Yeah. So FTR and Brodido had their World Tag Team Championship match, and I will say it was a banger. And there were a lot of times where we thought maybe Brodido would pull it off. I even thought maybe for a moment they were telegraphing that when Brody again refused to do the Macarena, because he knows from previous experience, no, you don't do that in the middle of a match. But
well, what I knew about this match was that there were going to be a million moments where I'm going to bite. And that was true.
Yeah.
It was a good match.
Yeah, it was a banger.
I'm very curious to see where things go for Bandido and Brody King. I was expecting both of them to be in the C2.
Right.
And I'm a little surprised that neither one of them is. And then they cut a really beautiful little promo about being hermanos, always sticking together and never stopping fighting. So I'm curious if, it makes sense that the tag division would step back a little bit at this moment while the C2 and the women's tag division are so hot and doing a whole thing. So I don't know, maybe they get a little vacation, or maybe, I don't know if they're going to come back as tagging or singles. I just want them on my screen.
Yeah, I definitely do. And Bandido, they really told a story in the match also of Bandido really holding it together. Brody King would get sort of thrown out of the match for a while, and Bandido was taking them both on.
Right.
He is definitely Wrestler of the Year for me.
100%.
And, that's also kind of the story that they're telling there. And so I guess let's go ahead a little bit. We got a couple of Collision promos. FTR came out to gloat. And thankfully we're...
Let me just say, when I see a match card and it's like, we'll hear from FTR, I'm just like... When do we not fucking hear from FTR? They're always talking.
They are always talking.
Can we have one that pops up that says, we will not hear from FTR this week?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I wonder where the tag team stuff is going. I think everybody thinks FTR is going to, that we're going to get Cage and Cope coming back and a feud with them for the belts. I think I've said it before. We don't need the belts in the mix for them to have a satisfying feud.
I was really hoping that feud would happen without the titles.
Yeah.
Other things can still happen. I mean, the Bang Bang Gang has the next right to challenge.
I was so happy when they came out, because it's not like it's not like they earned the $200,000, so naturally they're going to go for the belts. But that's what they decided. They said, we're coming out and we want a match, and anytime, anywhere, and we want it to be for the belts.
Yeah.
And, again, my guns are up.
Remains to be seen. One thing I really enjoyed from that moment, I don't know if Cash Wheeler is just giggling and if he just giggles a lot, or if that's part of the act, but I really enjoyed him seeing a fan had a sign where in the style of the FTR logo, it said fart.
That was great.
Like really a beautiful hand-drawn,
5 years old.
Beautiful hand-drawn typography, and it said fart. And you just see Cash like kind of giggling. Yeah. And then being like, oh, that's good. That's a good one.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, are the giggles real? And then you have to stop it and look tough? Or is
Not
the
clear
giggling
if it was
part
an
of
authentic break, but it
was
lovely.
It was good. I loved it. Good job, you.
And so we got that Brody and Bandito promo where they definitely implied they'll be sticking around in the tag scene. And we'll talk about Ring of Honor Final Battle later, but we did get an on Collision Bandito doing a little promo about that and then telling us that there's going to be this match for the Ring of Honor Men's Championship. So that'll be interesting.
And the last tag match we got at Full Gear, which, boy, I went on a whole freaking rant about that in the last episode, but we had a wee squash match with Eddie Kingston and Hook against the Workhorsemen. I don't know why I didn't put together in my head ahead of time that this would just be a squash match. Like it's obvious when you think about it.
Yeah.
In hindsight, it's obvious that it was a squash match, so I'm glad it wasn't a women's match.
Right, time-wise, yeah.
I still...
Well, we're going to talk about
we'll get to that storyline. We couldn't have expected exactly how it would come into play later.
Yeah.
I kind of take back my bitching about that. Sort of. I can reserve my bitching for other topics. All right.
So, before we move on to the Men's World Championship, we had the Women's World Championship match and some fallout afterwards. But so the Women's World Championship match, how did you feel about that?
This is the most negative I feel about the crowd. I'm glad that we went back and watched the broadcast. We actually just watched it last night. It was a wonderful match. It was a really good, strong match.
Yeah.
And in the heat of the moment at the live event, I was taken pretty much fully out of the match by men in the crowd being very disrespectful.
Especially near and around us, at least. But
there was one guy in particular in our section a few rows back who, like, I had to stop what I was watching and just scream at him to shut the fuck up, which is not how I enjoy spending my time.
Yeah. And at least our out-of-town friends nearby also, it wasn't...
we weren't the only ones.
Yeah.
He did shut up. He was cowed by enough people.
I don't know why people, if it's not your thing, like, fine. Even if it's, like, men you don't want to see. Like, let's say, like the Collision thing that we'll talk about later where MXM and the Outrunners fought. If it's not your thing, okay, well, go get a drink.
Go to the bathroom.
Yeah, go get a drink. Go
whatever.
To the bathroom.
It was hard because thankfully people weren't screaming like really disgusting sexual things or anything like that, but it was just like you could tell that the heat that Mercedes generates, or like the heel heat that people had in the arena, was very tainted by misogyny.
Absolutely.
It was very different from normal heel heat. It was very much like, why are you even here? The people who chanted, "You can't wrestle," I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Are we watching the same thing? And I hate spending this much time talking about that, but it really broke my heart, honestly.
Well, and it's distracting. Like, we did go back and rewatch the match in the pay-per-view, and there's a lot of stuff that I liked that I couldn't notice and couldn't pay attention to because people are fucking assholes.
Yeah, and also, like, the crowd was really quiet, generally speaking, for this match, and we were all really tired. Look, it was late in the night, and there were two really bloody hardcore matches immediately preceding it. So we're all kind of like coming down from this like very intense thing, and then it's right before the cage match, and it was just like, I don't know. They just these two women deserved better, and I don't know if changing the order of the matches would have been better, or like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, to me, I can cut the crowd some general slack for the general fatigue, but like when you say bloody intense matches, like, to me, if the crowd could set aside that it was two women wrestling, this was another high stakes intense match, and it didn't really get exactly the same.
And I think it also speaks honestly to the crowd not really knowing what to do with grappy matches. Like, the crowd was also quite quiet for Pac and Darby and for Mox and Kyle. Because I got this. Look, I'm not about to start judging people for being casuals, but it helped me to understand, like, oh, maybe this kind of thing is also why AEW hasn't been back in the New York metro area for the whole year, because it felt like a WWE kind of crowd. There were two guys sitting behind us who were literally yakking the whole time as if they were sitting in their living room, to the point where, I mean, I didn't say anything to that the entire event. And it was just like, what? I'm sorry. We'll get back to Stat and Moné. We will get back to Stat and Moné. I'm sorry for taking this moment to talk about this, but I think there's something wrong with the New York metropolitan area that it partly could be related to the Fed, and I think it could partly also be traced to like the commonality of having like corporate seats to sporting events. And so I think and other kinds of events, like I think in New York there's a lot of people with a lot of either corporate tickets or like more money than sense, and they just like go to things and they talk, you know, and it's like there was a steady murmur throughout the crowd the entire night, and it's like, what are you guys watching?
Yeah. And I will say, like, I just don't have enough experience with these, especially wrestling events. But even for me, other sporting events, other big concert events, it's not something I've done a lot in my life. I've certainly seen like musical concerts and stuff, but not sporting events, not wrestling. And I could see in my head, like, okay, it's a big pay-per-view. It's going to draw casuals. So there's going to be some of that. I don't know if the murmur is a thing that always happens at these things.
Probably.
And like, yeah, we had a lovely indie event, which was a great contrast, which we'll get to. But yeah, it was a little, I did not need those two guys talking just shop behind us the whole time. It was distracting.
Truly, it was bad. Anyway.
They popped for some of the good stuff. Well, they popped for some of the stuff with Mercedes and Stat.
That's the thing. It felt like a lot of the crowd was kind of just there for the big pop moments, and then they would get into it, you know? So I'm sorry. Let's get back to Stat and Moné. This was a great match, and they deserve better. And Stat's like little rocket ship entrance.
Cool.
We couldn't get a great view of that from where we were because we were kind of right there by it. But it was really fun to watch again on the broadcast, and I just love her.
Yeah.
I don't think Stat necessarily needs a manager, but I would really love it if she had a hype person.
Yeah. We came out of this thinking about that like walking back to the motel later, talking about that, and like
we're walking through the very silent streets of, well, we had a lot to talk about as we were walking briskly through the cold, quiet streets of New York back to our hotel.
It's true.
But that was one of the things we were saying is like, the women in this match kind of needed somebody on the sidelines to like get people clapping.
It really just highlights the value of that, at least when you have people like Luther for Toni Storm, or who is herself very charismatic and does hype up the crowd. But
and everyone was so psyched to see Toni. I think also part of it was people maybe not having engaged with AEW this year, and so people were really excited to see like guys they recognized from way back when or whatever. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was a great fucking match.
I loved Mercedes' entrance with all her belt boys, and the one guy who held the
one extra thick guy who was like, "Oh, you're the big boy. You get to hold the two belts. You can handle the extra weight."
Johnny Two Belts. I don't know.
I don't know any of those men, but it's a wonderful display.
Good job.
Stat. I really loved seeing her do all the different moves. Caught that seatbelt.
She did a really good catching Moné, doing a tope at her and rolling with it and carrying Moné back to the ring. Really felt like channeling Tony's "What a Woman." You know?
Yes. Yeah. She's like youth, and also the kind of work of her arm being injured was a bit Brodido-esque in the like, look how strong I am with my injury. I can kill you anyway.
There is a story Stat's telling about doing it herself, which I think her not having a hype person is part of it.
Yeah.
But even with an injured arm, I can take you. And the storyline of like you mentioned different moves we saw Chuck Taylor's seatbelt hold. We have to mention Chuck Taylor.
Of course we do.
She did Moné's own statement maker on Moné, which was great.
Yes.
But I think someone online pointed out that she won the match with her own move. She did the Saturday Night Fever.
Kind of with one arm. I thought it was a Gotch style driver because of the way she was holding Mercedes.
Right.
Because she was like not really using the injured arm. But then when I rewatched it, I was like, oh, that's not actually what she did. But it sort of had that look.
Yeah.
And then on Dynamite, Stat cut a promo that was like a very... girl, are you a spicy face? Like I love that she's like kind of still a tweener and she's quite precarious about it.
Yeah, she's got some tweener energy.
Is she? that promo had the energy that was like, and I could fall right into the heel hole. You know, she was
you
kind
guys
of like,
might push me by not I don't know, something.
You're not showing me respect. You know, it's like, okay, girl, you know.
But there is also, and I had the thought that there's also there's the alien energy, which, you know, for some of us who have experience maybe being
feeling like aliens,
feeling like people don't like us and we're just being ourselves. There's a little bit of neurodivergent energy there as well.
Yes. As I said in an earlier episode, you cannot judge humans, or you can't judge aliens with human morality. So maybe a human heel is just a regular alien.
There's a sense to which she is just being straightforward and honest and stating facts about where she stands and how she feels, and it feels heely. So that's interesting.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I think that was a little bit echoed by Roddy's little promo after the first round of the Continental Classic, but we'll get there later.
Yeah. Too. And I'd like to take a moment to also then just talk about the Women's World Championship title scene. Because through the tag stuff and through some of this and some of Dynamite and Collision, I'm thinking to myself, where's Tekla?
Yeah,
and maybe
she was
even
sorely missed.
Yeah, and maybe even Hayter after her, getting knocked out of the tag championship,
and then getting her teeth practically knocked out at Blood and Guts.
Yeah, and so we had another little moment. We had on Collision, Tekla showed up, and she had a match with Ty Mello,
which was a strange matchup.
It was sort of like, why are we okay? Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know there's some questions about Ty J, and like people are like, are they going to stick around? Are they going to depart? But setting all that aside, Tekla and Ty Mello had a great match. It felt a little weird, but I feel like there's a storyline they're setting up here. So like we brought out Tekla. She had a match against not just a jobber, but one member of the roster. Yeah. After Statlander's talking about roster. After Statlander's talking about who from the roster will, come up to challenge her, who dares to take her on and let her prove yet again that she deserves to have the fight. So, Tekla wins. She's joined by Sisters of Sin. Mm-hmm. Then Jamie Hayter comes out.
Yep. And then
Statlander comes out.
Yep.
And I thought we were right then going to get a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
We did not, but it felt like at least it's an arrow pointing in that direction.
I'm ready to see Stat defend against Tekla.
Yeah.
Or Jamie Hayter.
Or
but
either
Tekla
one.
in particular right now I think would be fun.
It does feel like they're setting that up. And Tekla, as people have talked about online, she has that aura. She's a new signing and she's very tiny, but she's right away rocketing to like, I want to see her.
I don't really like using the phrase big dick energy, but Tekla is swanging it. Okay, like whatever it is, Tekla has it. It's aura. It's she. Yeah. Tekla has more swagger than anyone on the roster, I would say.
Yeah. And just because it also plays into Mercedes, and it was another promo on Collision, we had a promo with Red Velvet.
Yes.
Where she, having just lost her Ring of Honor women's TV title to Mercedes, challenged Mercedes to get it back at Ring of Honor Final Battle.
Yeah, which we had kind of talked about, like, we kind of hoped the previous match they had might be a draw, and then they rematch at Final Battle. So even though Mercedes did win it the first time around, I'm happy to see that they will have a rematch.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'm excited about that, and we can talk about it more when we do our Final Battle preview later, but that was
just a brief.
I love seeing these Ring of Honor promos on Collision too.
Yes, please, more of that. Love it.
So do we need to talk about the Men's World Championship?
Yes. And in fact, like many people, I think over the past week, we have had more thoughts about the Men's World Championship than probably anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, being on the internet that weekend was tough.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can talk about our actual at-show experience.
Yes. Let me set the scene a little bit. I came into this event never having watched a full gear from the past, from beginning to end. I've seen a couple matches from past Full Gears, of course, but didn't know the full lore. But I have heard many times from different sources that the point of Full Gear is that it's kind of AEW's event. Well, that it's like a Hangman focused event, right? Mm-hmm. And that it's AEW's kind of opportunity to tie up storylines, right wrongs, and correct injustice.
Right.
I won't be listening to anybody saying anything ever again. And I like that. I don't want it to be predictable, okay? I don't have a problem with that not being true.
Yeah.
I think this whole emerging storyline has really spoken to the fact that, as I believe, maybe it was Leah on Tunnel Talk, somebody pointed out that like this was really good evidence that you don't actually know shit.
Yeah.
So stop acting like you know stuff.
I will say, shout out to Tunnel Talk. I think we both listened to their recap episode, coming out of it feeling like they said everything. We don't really need to say more.
Yeah, certainly. I think their episode came out on like Monday or Tuesday. And when I listened to it, I felt, I listened to it before Dynamite happened. And I said, if I had to sum up my thoughts on the World Championship title change and all that before Dynamite, this sums it up for me.
Mm-hmm.
So if you need that, go listen to that. But you don't really need my thoughts. So let's talk about what it felt like seeing it.
Yeah. I mean, I think to start with, I think we both went in, and a lot of people went in fully expecting, like the smarks that we all are, that that Hangman, that it was kind of a shoe-in, that Hangman, this was the story they were telling, that Hangman's gonna put down Samoa Joe.
Right.
So I think a lot of
Hangman's gonna show that he's a strong fighting champion.
Yeah.
He's gonna prove that he's got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think just to, in the moment, just devastating.
Absolutely.
Devastating.
Absolutely. I couldn't even muster, like, at the end, obviously, like, Hook came in and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? We'll get there. But so at the end, after Joe is holding up the title and all the dojo boys come out and all that, at the end, I'm so devastated. Shibata and Hook are looking at our area of the arena, like trying to get the heat from us, and all I can do is make it like a jerk off hand motion at them. I know they didn't see it, but like that's all I could muster up. I couldn't even boo. I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah. I think in the moment, my feelings suffered somewhat from the fact that we didn't really get, like, if it's like a heist movie and somebody pulls some, there's like a reveal, the reveal usually explains some of it so the audience understands. And I feel like, I'm not saying that there's no way anyone could have, like, they told a story and the story was there, but there's a little bit of, like, part of the reason everyone expected Hangman to win was the threads of Joe's heel turn and whatever the hell they were doing with Hook and the ops was very thin. And there's kind of like what are we doing here? And there's kind of like a really reaction.
Yeah. Well, let's get into that a little bit. Yeah. But I do want to say, so I'm at this moment where all I can do is give a little jerk off motion, right? Like I can't even muster anything up because I'm just so, what? And then the lights go out. And we just rewatched this last night. I wasn't sure if this would come across on the broadcast or if this was kind of just something you had to be there. The lights go out, a few seconds go by. Some people are getting up and leaving. Mm-hmm. And I see, before anything comes up on the screen, before there's any spotlight or anything like that, there's just enough low light that I saw the glimmer of Nana's jacket and his crown. Mm-hmm. And I smack Adam on the arm like, look!
I'm too busy just staring devastatingly at the heels in the ring.
And you can't even see anything because it's pitch black, but you were just like totally zoned out. And on watching the broadcast, there was you couldn't see anything before the Tron comes on the actual broadcast.
And the flames,
So I feel it was quite precious to have that moment of being like, oh my God, look, oh my God,
Yeah.
And then the Tron comes on. And then the spotlight goes on Nana. And if you're wondering why the whole crowd is exploding as soon as the lights go off, I think some people were like hoping it was Swerve, and like they didn't know immediately that Nana was there.
I mean, surely a lot of other people probably saw his sparkling jacket as well, but it's hard to know.
I don't think he was out there the moment the lights went out. So I think at the beginning there was like a little bit of wishful thinking and hoping, and then and then magnificent, enormous, completely unbothered looking Swerve Strickland, who looks like he ate Swerve Strickland. Sir, what kind of vitamins have you been taking? Oh, wow. I don't know what to say. It was such an overwhelming moment.
Do we all need to have tendon surgery? Maybe that's what.
That man.
He did good.
He did good. I appreciated the very slow walkout and kind of the moment where you weren't exactly sure what he was going to do.
Yeah.
Which I think Joe, to his credit, telegraphed really nicely through his face. Kind of, you could see his face change from like a fear and like a hesitation. And then he was like, look what I am presenting you with, Swerve. Like, he kind of gets the idea that maybe Swerve will be happy to see his old
like a
foe.
cat who's brought a mouse to the door. Yeah.
Like, exactly. Look at this bird I'm presenting you with.
Which is interesting because it is kind of an acknowledgement of like, you have power, sir.
Yeah. And then, of course, all the other ops fucked right the hell out of there, and Swerve goes on a one-man takedown spree of all the little dojo boys.
And Hangman gets up of his own accord, no help.
Correct. And stands next to him, bloodied, beaten, and with absolutely crazy eyes. And that's how it ends. And whoo!
Yeah. If I may, for myself, I do think with partly it's hindsight, partly it's letting the feelings simmer and percolate, partly it's the more information we've received since then, and the discussion and the context from people online. There was a lot of crash out after, and I will say there was a lot of Spider-Man meme of like, you're getting worked. No, you're getting worked. No, you're getting worked. Yeah. And it's like, but with some hindsight, I'm just going to say it was a heartbreak and devastating in the moment. And I can also step back after and say, what a joy to be able to feel those feelings, to be made to feel those feelings, like going to see a really fantastic play, like I have seen plays that have devastated me, and I had that feeling there. And what an amazing thing that fucking pro wrestling can do that to you.
I think before I talk about what a wonderful play it is, I'm going to wait to see how the third act.
That's true.
But right now, I am mostly content to let it simmer. And yes, I agree. Feeling these feelings is that's part of why we love this art form.
Yeah, I am not saying yet it's a great play, but to speak to the experience of going to the pay-per-view and what it was like
it felt like getting fucking stabbed.
I certainly got an experience.
The internet exploded.
Yeah.
There was a lot of really kind of nasty, frankly, men posting at women and queer people that they are, not mature enough to handle the story.
Way
and
too much
if you don't like it,
yeah,
that's because you're stupid, or like whatever, like that. That was not cool.
Yeah. And like, I don't have a lot of context in history. I am still so new to pro wrestling that when someone would sort of just matter-of-factly or kindly share some context, I appreciated that. But there was a lot of also nasty people feeling like they're smarter than everyone else.
Correct. Like, don't act like you predicted this.
Yeah.
Because you fucking didn't.
Yeah.
Like, very few people actually thought this was going to happen. And then when something like this happens, then the bunch of people come out of the woodwork like, oh, I thought so.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you didn't. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I found myself, I'm inclined to kind of reserve some judgment on the storytelling, partly because I'm such a new fan. It's not that I'm not intelligent. I'm very capable of critical thinking, but I am lacking some context. Mm-hmm. And I prefer personally to withhold stating my own strong opinions if I don't feel like they're firmly founded on something. So I respect the strong opinions of other people on this matter, to be clear. My only real actual gripe right now with this is, why are we putting Hook in the starring role in this story?
Yeah.
And that may also be influenced, as a new fan, that opinion may be influenced more by what I've heard other people say than me actually forming my own opinion on Hook.
Yeah.
And so, to be fair, like, maybe I'll come around. I don't know.
Yeah.
But my understanding is this kid does not work the indies. What has he done to get himself over? Like, they've tried pushing him over and over again, and he's not out there working his ass off. So I'm not sure why I'm supposed to be excited about this.
Yeah, from what little we've seen, and we have gone and watched a bunch of the 2024 Dynamites. We haven't finished going through that year, but we've seen him involved in some other stuff. Unfortunately, some of the Chris Jericho stuff that we kind of were like compelled to fast forward through from 2024 feels like maybe a bad sampling. But yeah, I also will admit I haven't seen enough of him to really have strong opinions. I'm tainted somewhat by other people's opinions.
Yeah.
I did look up his cage match stuff, and it's all Elite Wrestling, and that's fine. I'm all for homegrown talent. But there is a sense for me of the same sort of like
homegrown, really.
Yeah, it's like I'm all for people developing their skills and working hard. But some of the people that I respect the most that are like mid-card or low-card or whatever are also pounding their asses on the indies. And there's just something about
phrasing.
Pounding pavement,
okay, we'll talk about Briscoe later, though.
We'll talk about Briscoe later. Well, Samoa Joe was gonna fuck the Hangman's ass. Yeah, there's
everybody's pounding asses in here.
Everybody's pounding
I'm
asses.
Sorry, continue.
There's phrasing issues.
Please.
All of this is to say, for whatever it is, and not everybody is gonna like everything. There's something for everyone. I'm always saying it's a buffet. I saw someone make the lovely analogy of it takes a lot of different kinds of fruit to make a fruit cup. Like, I don't have to like everybody, but something about Hook, he feels like, this is a weird analogy, but like when somebody really charismatic is doing well in the political scene, and then a bunch of like liberals are like, let's grab all the superficial stuff about that person and we'll win. And it's like, no, the person we love has charisma out the wazoo, and they're talking about issues or whatever is political. But like, this feels a little bit like, okay, you're putting all this like hoo-ha around Hook.
It's like trying to make Gavin Newsom happen or whatever. Like, stop.
But I don't know. He doesn't jump off the screen for me, and I feel the same way. Like, why Hook?
He's cute. He's got cool hair.
Yeah.
What else? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm just not excited about his participation in this.
I don't think, to my mind, to what I've seen so far, he has not done anything to deserve such an important role in the story, and I don't relish the kind of knowledge that it's going to continue.
Yeah, it just kind of undercuts the story. It's like, okay, so you were a cog in someone else's plan. Cool. All right, moving on.
Great.
Next.
The only thing I would like to see with Hook in the near future is Eddie Kingston beating him to a pulp.
Demolish him. Yeah.
So,
all right.
Let's what I will say, whether or not I think the story was well crafted is still kind of remains to be seen. I'm withholding judgment somewhat. I have appreciated kind of going back and looking at some of these things and seeing, oh, okay, that's a little Easter egg, or that's a breadcrumb. They did leave some hints that you would not have reasonably noticed, but now going back with hindsight, you're like, okay, well, I guess when they had Samoa Joe qualify in that 4-way match, I was like, why? Why did they do it like this? Why did they make this match just to have Samoa Joe win?
Yeah.
Well, and Hook tapped out really fast. That's weird, huh?
Yeah.
And so like, again, I'm not really passing judgment on the quality of the storytelling here, but I do see what they were going for.
Yeah.
And watching, again, the broadcast last night and seeing Hangman's intro really underscored for me that what they were doing here. I didn't play Red Dead Redemption 2, so I wouldn't have noticed that song. But the fact that in his like Tron intro, they showed one fan sign, and huge. It took up the whole screen, and it was the sign that said Hangman is the heart and soul of AEW. Yeah. And it's like, oh, this is the part where you rip our hearts out. Mm-hmm. And I like having my heart ripped out.
Yeah.
I hope that it winds up feeling a little more satisfying than it currently feels.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna let it cook a little,
Yeah.
I love having my heart ripped out. Like my favorite fan fiction, it's like, we're gonna give you a satisfying ending, but we're gonna fucking kill you in the meantime. So I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And then we go into Eddie. Are we ready to talk about Eddie?
Yeah.
So shocking little promos and on Dynamite and Collision, we had some moments that were quite surprising for me. Eddie cut a promo on Dynamite that he said he doesn't want to talk about Hook, and looks like you could see the tears welling up in his eyes, and he wants to fight Shibata. Okay, sure. And then Collision, you get the predicted chop fest. Between Eddie and Shibata, which ends pretty quickly. And then it becomes clear why it ended quickly, because then Eddie cuts a promo. One of these off-the-cuff, give Eddie Kingston a live mic, I'm real, kind of promos. I do love that.
It was great. It was an all-timer.
And Eddie's still saying, Hook's my boy. And then somebody yells something in the audience, and he's saying Hook's going to have to fight Hangman. He's going to have to deal with Hangman and Swerve. And then somebody's yelling something in the audience, and Eddie goes, and he better hope he doesn't have to deal with me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, So he's still in that. He's experiencing the stages of grief. There's that meme where they take the kind of chart of going through the stages of grief, but it becomes a huge tangle. You know what I'm talking about? Which I have found really helpful when I've experienced deep grief in my life, because it's not linear. So Eddie's really going through it, clearly. And Eddie challenges Joe for the men's world title on December 10th.
Yeah. I don't know. Sorry, did you?
No.
I don't know if they're meaning to do this, but I think it's partly because of what someone said on Blue Sky as well, and what you've said. There's something to me about, like, when Eddie's referring to Hook as cousin, Eddie took Hook under his wing. There's something sort of like family about this, and there's something about a redirection of the corrective or what you should be doing when your family betrays you in service of some big evil, and you're like, well, I'm going to go take down that evil. It's like, maybe you need to address your family.
It feels like a very appropriate story beat for the times we're living in. And for
Thanksgiving and Christmas. You can
forgive.
Boys.
Yeah, you could forgive your family all you want, but they might still fuck you.
Talk to your boys, everyone.
I say that, but I'm not having an easy time talking to my own family member who reminds me a fair bit of Hook. But that's like the heartbreak, right?
That's the heartbreak. We did get Samoa Joe and the Ops doing their promo at Dynamite, where they wanted to celebrate, and they did give us a little video package with the breadcrumbs, and we got another taste of Hangman and Swerve.
Oh my god!
Both with their chains, not talking. Coming into the arena.
Swerve's wearing his same black, like, alligator type jacket that he wore at Full Gear, and Hangman is now in his traditional fringy suede, but it's black. Hangman's got the fucking crazy eyes. They're both wrapped in chains. They're not speaking to each other, but there's a silent understanding. Hangman's doing a shot at the bar, and I'm thinking...
has been drinking, is drinking.
I'm thinking, fucking hell, am I going to have to go to Al-Anon and talk about Hangman in addition to everybody else I'm talking about? Damn. Anything could possibly make this story arc worth it, it's Hangman and Swerve doing what they're doing right now.
Violence husbands.
Yes. The silent violence husbands.
So there's a lot of promise there, and wherever the story goes, I just hope they do stick the landing. And this is another thing, people talk about the satisfaction or the triumphance of Hangman's win at All In, and the length of his run and all that kind of discourse. I will just say one of the thoughts I have on all of that kind of stuff and continuing is wrestling being more soap opera than novel or movie. There's endings, but they also are always beginnings. It's
like a comic book too.
It continues going, and like, it's how long do you just have your hero being a hero before you develop another big villain, and then where do you go from there? What's the next story? Channeling Mox here, but you always got to keep going. So there is if they're going to stick the landing and make us feel satisfied as they move on to the next thing and the next thing, that remains to be seen.
So I suppose that's all we're going to say about that for now. We will stay tuned.
So there is more Full Gear stuff to talk about. But a lot of that also starts connecting into the Continental Classic.
Yes. Can we just for a second, I'm familiar, I followed sports in my life. I understand tournaments, right? That said, I never really looked into, this is my first time watching the Continental Classic, I never really looked into exactly what it is. I didn't realize how many people would be in it, and the fact that it's like a true round robin tournament where everybody fights each other. And so when they announced last Monday, when they announced the roster of the two leagues, I'm sitting there doing like a combinatorial on my fingers, trying to be like, wait a second, we get 30 matches out of this? Holy shit.
Holy crap.
Like, duh, you know, and even
yeah.
I didn't have to do all that. I didn't have to do all that, but I could have just multiplied it. But but I didn't realize, you know, that that's what it was, and I was so fucking pumped as soon as I put it together. Like, oh my god, we get to see all these matchups. This is why people like this.
Yeah, and I you know, not only had we not made it all the way through 2024 last year to see last year's Continental Classic, I also I just did not grow up watching sports. I don't have that familiarity, so I was like, okay, tournament, people are going to fight each other. But then sort of playing it out and understanding, okay, there's a lot of matches. This is going to be fun.
Yeah.
It sort of stirs the pot of your stories that are going on. It's a lot of new stuff.
It does. And I like that about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are some people who are like, don't relish the kind of interruption sort of to the ongoing storylines, but it's also building on the storylines. It's a little bit of an interruption, but
yeah, I can see why some people might not be that enthused. It kind of goes back to sort of like old school wrestling where it's like, these people care about winning the prize and now they're going to have matches, and it's kind of like bare bones, which could be kind of boring if you're really more invested in like the soap opera and the clownery and the queer stuff and all that. But it's going to be woven throughout, right?
I love it. Put it in my veins, you know?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want all of AEW to just always be like the C2.
No.
But as a sort of once a year thing, I'm super into it.
Yeah. What an opportunity to get some fun matchups and fuel some new things and draw some old things to close. Yeah.
Okay.
Should we talk about the CMLL World Trios Championship?
Yes, absolutely. What a fun full gear experience.
Yeah. Because the largest thing people are expecting the C2 to culminate in is this ongoing, developing, brewing thing between Okada and Takeshita. So we got this Trios Championship, which, first of all, El Sky Team, Mystico Dorada and Neon.
Yes.
So good.
Delighted to see all of them.
So what a treat to see them.
I'm only mad at myself because I swore to myself that if I was ever at an event where Mystico was going to be there, I would have the lyrics to Me Muero like pulled up on my phone because I can't possibly memorize that whole thing, but I didn't do it. So I was just kind of like... I was doing my best, but my best wasn't very good.
Yeah, I was totally just humming the melody as best I could. Yep.
My best was not great.
But we're there in spirit.
We were there in spirit.
So they had a match against Okada, Takeshita, and Hechicero, bless his heart, who
oh my God,
he wanted to win.
He was the ham of the moment.
He was so good. I love him so much.
I love him.
Speaking of heels that are hard to actually want to give heat to.
He is so good at those little comedy moments.
Yeah.
Like at Death Before Dishonor, there was just a moment in the middle of an incredible knockdown, drag out 37-minute match where the crowd's chanting "Bandido, Bandido," and he just looks up and he's like, "Bandido, Bandido," you know, and it was so funny.
So funny.
I adore him.
He's great.
And yeah, it really broke your heart because he was like, "Please, guys, this belt means something to me. I know it may not be important to you, but please,
can
we behave so I can try to win this belt?" And they were immediately like, "Nah, fuck these guys."
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Which Okada and Takeshita also just like, Okada's so good with his
he's so funny
little like bad boy grin, and Takeshita's got his stink face going on.
Yes. Yeah. And that little fan video that someone took at ringside where Okada was down on the sidelines and the fan is like, "You're not really gonna help him?" And Okada's like, "Hell no!"
Hell no. Yeah.
I love that he interacted with that fan in that moment. It did feel a bit like Chuck Taylor energy, like Chuck Taylor indie heel energy.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I'm like that meme of the guy who's only watched Boss Baby, and so everything reminds him of Boss Baby. Taylor, but it's me and Chikara. Okay.
Yes, absolutely. But I mean, excellent touch point as well. I also,
I'm not sorry, and I'm not sad.
We won't be apologizing for mentioning Chuck Taylor every episode.
Oh, and just before we continue, I will say there was somebody at Prudential Center. They had like a fan cam up on the big jumbotron where you could scan the QR code and upload your pictures of you at the show. And we got on there. It was cute. And then at one point I looked up and there was a picture of somebody holding up a sign that said Chuck E. T. Forever. And I couldn't see where they were and I didn't get a picture. I was smacking Adam's arm like, look. But by the time he looked up, it had changed and I didn't get a picture of it. But it was nice to know there was somebody with the right sentiment among all the fucking loser men in the crowd.
Yeah. And
anyway,
so I wanted to talk about this here because it feeds into the Continental Classic. But another thing about this match that, especially in person, it felt more confusing or questionable than it plays out in the pay-per-view. Which is when it started, and we get the cheeky thing where Okada hasn't even shown up yet, so
he's showing up late with Starbucks.
Yeah, he's showing up late with Starbucks. It's 3-on-2. He shows up in the garage. He picks his outfit off the table, which is where it's waiting for him,
and just saunters in.
Yeah, but before that, this is one of those bleed over things they're doing again from Tailgate Brawl into the pay-per-view proper, which is smart. It works well. So far, but Mystico had to do a big work where he's sort of getting injured by Chisero and he's getting ganged up on. He's being helped away, and I actually, I was thoroughly worked in person. I was like, oh no, Mystico really got hurt. Oh no, what are they gonna do? I was fully worked, and then in the pay-per-view, it plays much more obviously. That,
it becomes clear that it couldn't be 3-on-2 at that time. They needed to kind of showcase the whole like Okada showing up. And if all three members of El Sky Team were there at that moment, it would have been a little bit more chaotic and less showcasey. So it becomes very clear what they were doing. Yeah. And then Mystico does come back after Okada.
He does. And I'm like, wait, wasn't he injured? Come on.
No. Work us, baby.
Yeah, work us. But we get these moments between Okada and Takeshita. Yeah. And their friction causes them, it could be said, to lose the match.
Mm-hmm. And then they go blaming each other.
Bravo for El Sky Team, because they're great.
It was delightful.
They go blaming each other. And then going more into Continental Classic stuff that feeds in from Full Gear, we got the beautiful no disqualification match.
My God.
For the TNT Championship with Mark Briscoe and Kyle Fletcher.
Yes.
Holy shit.
A couple things about this. I was a little bit sorry they didn't go the ridiculous route of making Mark Briscoe join the Don Callis family.
It could have been so good.
But
in hindsight, it's also a little obvious it was never going to happen.
Right. No puce suit for you, baby.
Yeah.
But it was great. Definitely enjoyed Briscoe having his moment. Kyle's back. This didn't really make it onto the broadcast. This is one of those things that we saw in person. They didn't really show Kyle walking away after the match. Mm-hmm. He looked like the Passion of the Christ. His back was ripped up. And so then in the match on Dynamite, you kind of see that it looks scratched up, but you didn't get the full, they didn't show it off, unfortunately.
But this match was beautiful. We got a lot of lovely, like, hardcore spots with the multiple multiple chairs. With,
I hate ladders. I hate ladder spots.
Oh my God, the ladder that got broken, and like just how the confidence they must have in their skills to just not be like, wait, this thing's gonna lacerate one of our throats open. We need to get it out of the ring. They're like, we're just gonna
we're fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
This thing's made of tinfoil.
And that hairy screwdriver spot, Don's screwdriver,
Don's famous yellow screwdriver.
Yeah, it's in every big match. But I think going all the way back to some of the Fletcher.
It goes way back.
Yeah, it goes
before Kyle.
Yeah,
it's not. Yeah, it's not a Kyle thing. It's a Don Callis thing.
But enough said about Don's screwdriver.
Huh.
But when he sticks
putting it through the turnbuckle pad, like it was going
just hovering over it, and we're all like, no,
everyone's going to require some horrible surgery.
I was surprised there wasn't a "Please be careful" chant at that moment. Maybe there was.
I think there was a chant. I don't remember what we chanted, but there was a like, don't die. Yeah. There was something.
Yeah.
As I have quite a bit of experience in trauma care, intensive care, and in the operating room. So there are a couple kinds of spots that I really don't like, even though I know that in wrestling they're doing their best to be as safe as possible. I typically don't like ladder spots. I've seen too many spinal cord injuries. I don't like the implication that someone could be stabbed through their perineum. These are things where I'm like, no. I'm fine with all the, like, the blood, the tacks, whatever. That's all fine. But when you get to something that's like, oh no, shit, this could do really real damage, it gets me like really... it takes me out of it a little bit. So I'm grateful that they didn't actually do anything with the screwdriver.
But it certainly psychologically does work.
And then Kyle eventually using it on Briscoe's forehead and then licking it.
Beautiful.
Foul. Horrible boy.
Yeah. Speaking of horrible boy, I didn't have this thought until we were rewatching, but we know Kyle's not really winning if he's not mounting his opponent while looking at the camera.
Oh God, I know. He's such a
I don't know if that's really true, but it certainly happens often enough.
He has such a gross way of mounting his opponents. But it's not really teabagging them, but it's the same vibe. Like, it just feels like you're gross.
And but so Mark Briscoe won, which frankly, it was time. I was ready. I know people talked about him maybe winning it eventually, and he sure did. He earned it.
He did. And I really enjoyed the little promo afterward where Orange Cassidy presented him with the custom camo belt.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Which after all the talk about, like, Fletcher needing a pink one, it really spoke to the power of having actual friends who care about you, and that this is what they do for you. Don would never have done that for him.
Don just gets him a homoerotic poster painting. He doesn't get him an actual customized belt.
And I will just say that in that promo near the end, Briscoe takes the regular, the old belt and thrusts it over to Orange, and he's like, "Here, you take this."
Yeah.
And Orange is like, "Okay." So if that's not telegraphing something down the road, well,
it could be.
I think
it's fun to think it is.
I think it is.
Yeah.
And I will be the first to gloat if it is true.
Absolutely. You heard it here first. So, and we'll talk more about some more about Briscoe and where he's headed later, because there was some stuff in Collision. But
let's you know what? Let's just get into it, because he's kind of on his own path separate from the C2 stuff.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah. Were we going to talk about Danny Garcia and Daddy Magic at another point in this agenda, Adam, or can we just talk about it now?
Let's do it now.
Okay. So we had in the Casino Gauntlet match a nice tense moment with Papa Magi and Danny Garcia, and then we had an actual match between the two of them at Collision. I hadn't realized that Daniel Garcia's beautiful logotype, actually the D and the G are a scythe and a skull, like the Grim Reaper. Cool. Maybe I'm the last person on the planet to notice it, but it's so good.
I did not notice it, and I thank you for pointing it out to me.
It's really good. It's really well done. I just love, as I've said already, I love his whole Death Rider aesthetic.
Yeah.
I love Mox on commentary. Please do it every week.
Yes.
The only other thing I would say about Mox on commentary is that, like, Nigel at one point asks Mox or like speculates that there would be some kind of punishment for Danny if he winds up tapping out. Mm-hmm. And Mox is like, "Oh, that happens sometimes." And he goes, "It feels like you're projecting." Let me know if you ever need to talk,
Yeah. Some people can't face the sunrise in the morning.
Oh my God, Mox, I love you so much. Please.
I'm supposed to be like that.
Please keep drawing this out. I do not want to see Mox be killed off by the Death Riders tomorrow, and then he, like, has to do his face turn. This is so funny.
Yeah.
You could stretch this out as long as you want.
I mean, there's the telegraphing, which, of all the Death Riders staring at him. But there may also, I really like this whole, like, this is a lifestyle. You got to live the life. It's very BDSM. It's a lifestyle. And maybe the rest of them are down with it. Like, yeah, this is a lifestyle. There's a transformative thing that I felt like comes through Mox's.
Everything here is happening with enthusiastic consent.
Enthusiastic consent. There's something with what he was saying with, there's something with, is the Death Riders whole thing actually, I'm like, we were all speculating perhaps at the time that Mox was courting Danny. What's he whispering to him? What's he saying to him? Maybe he was saying, it's fine to lose. It's okay to lose. You just got to keep showing up. If you ever want to talk about the feelings that come up when you lose, come talk to me. I got your back.
That certainly doesn't jive with what Danny has said to Daddy Magic in the moments since he turned. But
we love you even if you lose. This is a loving family.
That's my headcanon, though. I did appreciate Daddy Magic doing the Danny Garcia dance and making him very angry.
Yeah.
And so eventually, of course, Papa Meji gets choked out right next to the rope, which he cannot reach. And then Briscoe comes out with his beautiful new camo belt and says that he will accept a challenge from Danny to defend his TNT championship. And he says that he's going to devour his delicious Thanksgiving dinner. And after that, he's going to devour Danny Garcia's ass. Sir.
AEW is not going to...
Not beating the allegations.
Not beating the allegations.
Just beating each other off, apparently.
MMA
can devour your ass, young boy. What? I love it.
But yeah, okay. I mean, like he said in his promo, Danny had the TNT belt before, which I did not actually remember or know, but
I did, yeah.
All right,
we haven't seen that, but I knew it was there.
If we're gonna defend the belt, sure, and that's a fun thing for Danny to do.
Do it
at this time.
Yeah, do it. I'm fine with just seeing wherever this goes. I'm not really speculative on the TNT belt, except maybe eventually, perhaps Orange taking it based on that promo.
Yeah,
which would be lovely. We'll talk about Orange a little later as well. There's a lot to say.
Yeah. And Full Gear gave us a sort of final transition to the Continental Classic when they did the little Don Callis family promo.
Yes.
Where the resolution we got a little payoff for what happened in the trios match earlier and for Fletcher losing his belt.
Yes.
Where Okada...
he's just covered in crusty blood.
Crusty blood and comes out to join them. Yeah, they're talking about Okada going to be in the Continental Classic. And Donna is very happy about that.
Of course.
Takeshita pikes up, say, I also will be.
And everyone knew that he would.
We all knew.
The amount of times we've referred to Okada as the world's greatest tournament wrestler.
Yes.
Right after Takeshita won the G1, just became really obvious that they're at least setting this up as a matchup. And I do think that a bunch of people were like, oh, this is predictable. They're going to be the final. It's a foregone conclusion. I would say these are the people who just watched what happened with the men's world title. Yeah. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
Even if that is what happens, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. It is the most obvious thing. And if that's what happens, I'm going to be delighted to see it. And I'm going to be delighted to see everything that leads up to it.
Yeah.
But I think they are throwing in some little bits of spice that may throw off what people see as the foregone conclusion.
Yeah, and there's a lot of storyline development in other storylines that's going to happen during this. So it probably was maybe predictable, but so we got Takeshita voicing his frustration with Okada and announcing his participation.
Yeah.
And Fletcher runs in with his bloody, crusty, scarred skin.
Yeah.
Saying he is also frustrated with Okada and Takeshita.
Where were you in the moment?
Protoshita.
Protoshita. So funny.
Spurned by them both, announces his participation in the Continental Classic. And
the only thing I really wish is that Hechicero would have been like, yo también.
Yo también.
Me too. I am also joining the Continental Classic.
He's standing there like the teddy bear of the family with holding the cash.
Yeah.
It fully would have expected him to be like, oh, is that what we're all doing? Sounds fun.
Me too. Thanks.
And so Okada, Takeshita, Fletcher in the Continental Classic. And among the others that will be in it, it's kind of Death Riders heavy. And we've not talked about at Full Gear. We had Pac versus Darby Allin, both ending up in the Continental Classic.
Yeah.
Pac looked so strong.
I loved that match. It was kind of what I was hoping for in terms of being a really grappy match.
Yeah.
That's my favorite version of Darby Allin, is when he really gets to go in a grappy sense instead of flinging himself everywhere.
Yeah.
Pac used to be, like, earlier in his career, I guess he was known for his aerial work. And I feel like since he's come back, he's somewhat more grounded, but he looks so strong and he's still really explosive.
Yeah.
His movement is so fast and snappy.
Yeah.
I've been really enjoying watching that.
Yeah. And I think, there's something about I love Darby's, he's a big sort of spot person sometimes. But even in a match like this where we're really seeing his wrestling chops, there's still some things where he's getting just flung at the turnbuckle and going through the ropes. And you're just like, oh my God.
Are we also talking about Darby's C2 match with Kevin Knight, or do you want to wait?
We can talk about that.
Match of the night.
Oh, definitely.
I'm so thrilled to see Kevin Knight kind of get this showcase. Like, Kevin Knight versus Darby Allin is the kind of match that would never happen if it's not for the Continental Classic.
Yeah, it's certainly unexpected.
Yeah, that's the kind of matchup that makes me excited about the tournament, because, like, yeah, hell yeah, I want to see those two guys go. But, like, what kind of opportunity do you ever get to see them against each other? And my God.
So good. I mean, both of them, but certainly Kevin Knight just shining.
Just
and a fun way
beautiful.
to do what is effectively a face v face match with them really like sort of showing respect to each other, and
right.
You know, like, no hard feelings here, but we got to do this because it's a tournament,
right?
And Kevin, like,
and that
checking
coast to
on
coast,
him after
that coast to coast that might as well have been around the world. Like, holy shit. And Darby, I don't know if he really he was probably just selling it really well, but I wanted to do like a neuro check on him after that. I was like, do you know where you are, baby?
Yeah, so we're getting jet speed in the you know, both Speedball Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight in the C2, which is it's just shows another reason these tournaments can be fun, because, like, well, you know, I love them as a tag team, but we haven't really seen them in singles, and it's an opportunity to sort of separate them and let them shine there.
Yeah, we haven't seen them in singles matches in
quite a
while.
Yeah, quite a while.
And I do look forward to their eventual match against each other in the Gold League. I hope they stay together and don't have a weird storyline where they can't work together anymore, but either way, it's gonna be killer. All right, sorry, let's get back to the Death Riders.
Back to the Death Riders, but like, Pac is looking so strong. He is, and I know there's a lot of, like, for the people who are speculating that the Death Riders are going to oust Mox at some point. The question of who will take over, and a lot of people say Claudio, a lot of people say Pac. Pac is really looking, and he's been talking in the promos.
Yeah, Pac's been stepping up for sure.
He to me looks like the obvious one to take the charismatic lead of that group if that's what happens. But
and so on Collision, Pac had his second C2 match, which was against Speedball.
Yes.
Speaking of Speedball. And also, like, Pac looked amazing. It was a great match. Hate to see Speedball take a loss.
Yeah.
But I guess we knew that's kind of where that was going to go.
It would be weird if Pac and Darby fight, and Pac defeats Darby, and then Darby and Kevin Knight fight, and Kevin Knight defeats Darby, and then Pac and Speedball fight, and Speedball beat Pac. Like, that would be kind of weird.
Yeah. I mean, the thing that hurts my heart about the C2 is that I guess each side has to have one or two people who are kind of destined to eat a lot of pins.
Yeah.
And I really hate to see that happen to someone like Speedball, but it's also part of the story.
It's part of the story. And also, he's a good candidate for it in a way, because everybody loves him no matter what.
Yeah. It's true. He's
very
going to
stay
over. Speedball will stay over.
Yeah.
No matter
a very likable face, and really fits that sort of like plucky underdog kind of role, which way down the road could be the kind of groundwork for like a nice singles run too. Like, now I'm winning.
Or a gnarly heel turn.
Exactly.
Maybe my favorite thing about that, not my favorite thing, but one of my favorite things about that Collision match was when Pac was coming out, and you could see that one of the fans along the aisle put out their hand as if Pac was going to give them a high five. And Pac just, you see on camera the look that he cuts at this fan, just being like, what is that?
Yeah.
Do you think I'm going to touch that? Is so fucking funny. And if you didn't catch that, you should go back and watch it, because it was perfect heel work.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What?
And it kind of reminded me a bit of our JCW experience, which we will talk about after we're done with all our AEW stuff. You know, you have a responsibility as a wrestling fan.
Yes.
If a heel is walking right by you, you don't hold out their hand for a high five.
Are you a heel too? What are you doing?
I don't know, man.
Yeah. So we had Pac in his match with Speedball. After his match with Darby Allin, we had Darby Allin losing to Kevin Knight. And then, but more Death Rider stuff. We had Kyle versus Mox at Full Gear, which was a huge, intense, bloody, high-stakes match. I mean, the storyline is high stakes. There's no belt on the line, but what's going to happen, you know? And Kyle got the pin on Mox again, second time. And I'd count the sort of
double DQ
thing as basically a loss for John too. I mean,
sure.
But yeah, really great.
I fully expected Kyle to get that win, but the fact that I could even get to the point where I expected Kyle to get that win is amazing.
Yeah, there's a great run going on with Kyle. And then, so at the end of that match, Mox left the ring kind of almost looking like he respected Kyle for having won and beat him again.
Mm-hmm.
But then on sort of seeing his fellow Death Riders perhaps seem to think better of the respect he was showing.
Can't just leave him there. Yeah.
Can't just leave him there, and went back to try to like kick him in the head a little bit. I don't
he's trying to save face a little bit.
Yeah, beat him up more. Yeah. And then, you know, left and fucked off with the Death Riders. And
interesting moment with that where Danny Garcia is standing at the barricade and kind of looks to Claudio like, should I follow this man?
Yeah.
And Claudio just kind of gives him a little silent nod.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, get over there.
Not right now. Now's not the time.
Now's not the time to kill our daddy.
Yeah. Let's hear what he has to say. Which we did get
and what he had to say was unhinged.
It was unhinged. Which he's coming into that room in the promo that we saw online, which has fewer edits.
Mm-hmm.
He's coming into that room saying something to somebody about
like, I can't do anything right.
Yeah. Like, I can't do anything right.
Like, who's telling you that you can't do anything right, Mox?
Are we interrupted by a conversation?
Sounds like our parents are fighting.
Yeah, there is some dissension in the ranks, perhaps.
For sure.
And Kyle, the story we're being told is that Kyle was injured in that match, and he's no longer cleared to be in the C2 if he was going to be in the C2.
Yeah.
It's not clear how much that's a work or not.
I think it's a work, and he deserves to have a nice holiday with his family. But,
he does.
You know, not everybody wants to have these C2 matches. Like, that's a lot of wrestling.
It is a lot.
But so and also, like, I hope they're not cooling off the Kyle story, because he needs to come back and be in title contention.
Yeah, they've built him up, and maybe it's a fine moment to be like, okay, we've built him up to where we know he's a contender. He can take a break during this distractions that is the C2, and he can come back and be on his own. He's strong now.
Right. Hopefully that's what they do.
Yeah.
And so then Mox went up against Dorada in their first C2 match.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like, we were wondering, is Mox going to lose? Is he going to be the designated pin eater?
Wondered. Yeah. I was sort of thinking it would be cool if he just like lost them all, and then at the end it culminates in
I mean, that would be insane if he went 0-5.
A little insane.
But it would be funny. And I think it would be equally funny if he goes 5-0. Which I don't think he will, but it would be really, it would be quite hilarious if they pulled that upset on the Death Rider story by just making Mox win everything.
Yeah. But this was an astounding match. I mean, Dorada, I think last time we saw him was looking a little like maybe he was not on his best game.
Or maybe it was like his coordination with Okada. I don't know.
Something felt maybe a little off, but he was, I mean, he was
also very young.
Yeah. We got to say Mox do a tope in this match.
Yeah.
And he like punched Dorada out of the air at one point. Like there was a lot of stuff happening here.
Yeah.
I never get tired of Mox doing his stunned like video game emote, like his animation where he's just like
you should be seeing finish him on the screen.
I never get tired of that. And we had a moment where Dorada had Mox in a hold. I think armbar.
He had him in some kind of armbar.
Yeah, and which for a moment I really thought, okay, Dorada's actually going to win this because you can't pin Mox to win him. You have to grab him. You have to put him in a hold.
And we're there at home going, tap out Mox, you're the best tapper alive. Tap out Mox, you're the best tapper alive. And we're going to try to make that happen at Hammerstein. But
we'll try.
We can't do it if Mox is going to go 5-0.
Yeah. It all depends on if he gets some more losses in.
Yeah, Mox, don't ruin this for us, okay?
Make it fun. Lose a little. But yeah, so he got a win. Marina's hair was down this whole time. She's looking a little rough. Maybe she's stressed out about Mox, or maybe she just felt like having it down.
She didn't have a match, so she doesn't need to have everything so tightly braided.
It's true. And so then we also had Claudio Castagnoli versus Orange Cassidy. Main event for that Dynamite.
Yes. So this is basically a rematch. I think this is now their third ever singles match together.
Mm-hmm.
And once again, it was almost an identical match, honestly, to the previous one.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, rather than that just being kind of boring, I wonder if they're building a story about Orange, kind of learning that his old tricks are not as effective anymore, that the moves and the style that he's been leaning on and the gimmicks he's been leaning on maybe aren't gonna do it anymore.
Yeah.
And so maybe he needs to figure out what he's going to do with that.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's, I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I think Orange is going to take over the Death Riders, but
I am interested. Yeah, there's a good overlap here of like general conglomeration versus Death Rider energy, because we've also seen them being paired up or put against each other in some group matches recently. So there's and then the general, Claudio versus Orange, and what does it mean for Orange?
And if they're having Orange Cassidy take pins and look weak, it's got to be for the service of the larger story.
Definitely.
There's no way they're just like, oh yeah, you're mediocre.
Yeah.
That would not fit in with anything that we know about him.
At the very least, there's a story being told of, can Orange Cassidy figure out how to take down Claudio?
Yeah.
Because it's looking like Claudio's just dominant, which is also kind of the story we're getting from the Death Riders in general at the moment, that the rest of the team is still dominant.
Yeah.
And even, Mox getting that first win of his first win of the C2 also kind of sets that stage.
And then the promos that everybody cut after the first week of the C2 for Orange, he's just like, I lost. That's not good.
yeah.
So it makes me wonder if he's going to keep losing for now. I wouldn't be surprised.
Right. And the hook of if it is something, Briscoe handing him the sort of real, quote unquote, real TNT belt.
Or the old one, whatever.
The old one, the not customized one. Yeah, I wonder if Orange is going to lose for a while and then find his mojo again later. And,
speaking of Orange Cassidy and just the C2 in general, it was very interesting to see Okada coming out wearing just the international belt again.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a part of me that wants Orange to be like eyeing that belt.
Yes.
That's my belt. And it reminds me that the whole thing with the unified title is like really not that serious.
Yeah.
I'll be curious to see what happens if I don't expect Okada to retain the Continental Championship. That would be a strange way to end this particular tournament, in my opinion. I don't expect that. And in that case, then the unified belt is sort of like moot.
Yeah. I know a lot of people seem to have, there are some feelings about that.
People don't like it.
But I think there's something where people want to take it too seriously, or people get upset when the belts aren't treated seriously. And I'm like, it was just kind of a trophy for Okada.
Yeah.
Is how I look at it. It's not really a big deal.
And maybe they're changing their mind about what they're doing with it,
maybe.
And that's okay. We're allowed to change our minds.
And maybe it'll just be something that comes back again if somebody happens to get the international and continental belts at the same time. They get to have the unified belt. Why not?
Or even if you have two belts at the same time, could you, like, what does the unified belt mean exactly?
Right.
Could it be the continental and a different
title?
Right. What does it mean? Anyway, we're going to find out, I guess.
We'll find out.
It could just be a thread that never gets picked up again.
Yeah,
and
these things happen.
It is what it is.
As a fan of science fiction, I am well acquainted with threads that seem really enticing that then never are spoken of again. It happens.
Yeah.
It's okay to complain about it too.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Okada.
Let's talk about Okada
versus Kyle Fletcher in the first match of the C2.
First C2 match. Yep.
Woo-hoo. I had a feeling when they announced that Fletcher v Okada would be the first match in the C2 that Kyle actually might win. Because, like, they're not going to make Okada look bad over the course of the tournament, but if he loses his first match, they can just let him win all the other ones, and in the meantime, it makes Kyle Fletcher look really good.
And Kyle pinned Okada last year's C2. I was looking up because I knew they had a match, and I was like, oh. Yeah,
Okada's been pinned I think the only times were by Kyle in the C2 and then by Brodido in that tag team qualifier match. Speaking of people who should be in the title picture.
Yes.
But yeah, so at this point, we can actually see all the scratches on Kyle's back that they didn't show during Full Gear. There's a lot of really silly heelery where both of the wrestlers separately kind of kick Rick Knox and then get down praying and saying how sorry they are.
Yeah.
Very stupid.
Very silly. And there was a pinfall that was a 2 count where Kyle is like pleading with the ref.
Oh yeah,
as
please
if the
say
refs,
it was 3. Say it was 3.
As if the ref's gonna be like, oh, you're right, it was
you know
3.
What? It
yeah,
was 3.
okay.
Yeah,
but it's
very
fun.
funny.
It's fun.
What a bunch of goobers.
Yeah, and really setting the stage of like, this is going to be interesting. Keep watching. Okada can lose, and maybe Fletcher wins. Maybe someone else wins. It's not set in stone. Yeah.
And then on Collision, we got Takeshita versus Roddy Strong. That I believe was the last C2 match of the first week.
Yeah.
And Don Callis is on commentary, and he's saying nice things about Roddy the whole time, with this tone of like, he could breed beautiful boys.
Don Callis is a menace.
And so I know people still talk like, oh, Roddy's going to turn heel, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, I don't think he's joining the Don Callis family, but it was funny to see Don kind of praising him as if he might join the Don Callis family.
We have famously seen him praise someone else a lot, at least in stuff we've seen.
Who's also conglomerating.
That's
right.
And who did not join the Don Callis family.
Correct, and will not be joining the Don Callis family.
As much as some may plead, he should join the Death Riders.
Okay, well, that would be funny, though. Okay, anyway, and I have been really enjoying seeing Roddy and Orange work together, by the way. I think there's no sign that Roddy is not conglomerating. They are getting over their issues. Yeah. Roddy takes a wicked hit to the back of the head on the barricade at one point.
Looked really bad.
It did. The faces in this tournament are really not having a good time right now. The only face that's having a good time is Kevin Knight, because he had to battle another face.
Yeah.
Like, it's heels all the way down at the moment.
All the way down. Yeah. I did find it interesting when they were bringing them out, and they announced that Takeshita had basically a 11-0 or 7-0 something record, but basically saying has no losses. And I know that's AEW only, but it is interesting given his absolutely killer match with Brodido for the Ring of Honor world title that he lost.
Yeah.
Which in the AEW,
watch that again. That was amazing.
It was, if you haven't seen
one of the matches of the year.
Definitely match of the year. Another reason Brodido should be in the title contention in AEW, and maybe that will be happening. Who knows? But
maybe in the new year, once they work out some of this nonsense that's going to be happening with the men's title. I think it's going to probably fly around a little bit before it settles somewhere. Yeah, but we'll see.
But all this is to say, it's not like Takeshita is unbeatable.
No, but they both looked great. Take and Roddy both looked great in this match. Takeshita took the win. And then at least Don Callis could be like, oh, now my team has 6 points.
Yeah, my team.
Yeah.
The family. We are socialist. We put them all together in a big bucket and share them.
That's right. And then Roddy cuts after the match. Roddy cuts a promo. That's another stat. He cuts this precarious tweener promo, which is like, they put me in this as a replacement, and I'm gonna kill you all.
Yeah. He's tired of being an alternate backup, all of that.
Overlooked. Much like Stat, not respected, not believed in. And I want both of them to clean up fully.
Yeah, he threatens to break everyone's back, and
please, I would like to see that. Thank you.
Yeah. Roddy is a powerhouse. And,
he is.
Fun to watch.
Roddy's wonderful. Okay, so I think that's all we wanted to say about Full Gear and then the following Dynamite and Collision. Is that correct?
Mostly. I think we're probably ready to talk about Ring of Honor Final Battle, which there was one more thing that happened at Collision, which may or may not have anything to do with Final Battle. But, we got a fun match, another MXM TV challenge, where they come out
spectacular.
And Mansoor and Mason are in Wizard of Oz costumes. Mason's got a little bear face paint on, and lion.
Cowardly lion face paint. I kind of think they were all doing Wizard of Oz stuff. Like Johnny TV had kind of like Emerald City looking pants, and Taya was in like a blue and white.
I was thinking, are
singlet. So I think they were all coordinating. But
that makes sense. I was thinking, are they going to they would be Dorothy and Toto or something, but it didn't. Scarecrow.
Yeah, no. But Mason and Mansoor really went all out.
They did. And we love them here. And they came out and they, they thankfully didn't do any more like really, really cheap heat. They made fun of the crowd a little and asked who's going to come challenge them. And we were met by Dalton Castle and the Outrunners. Now, normally this is, it's just a fun match. It was a good match. The Outrunners got their you son of a bitch moment. We had a moment where Mensah and Mason were sort of mocking them and like doing a little like fingertips, like
touching tips,
but
I didn't catch what they said, but basically doing the you son of a bitch elbow drop, but touching tips.
Yeah, fun stuff. And I will say Dalton Castle and the Outrunners, they are a trio that should take the trios belts off the Ops. I would find that very satisfying. Let's do it. Book it.
Things that are definitely going to happen.
The Ops deserve that, in my humble opinion. Anyway, but so we had their match, but right as they won, and Dalton Castle got the pin on Mansoor at the end, I believe. Ricochet and GOA storm out, and now they had just cut a little video promo where they said they were pleased that they weren't in the C2 because Ricochet had a belt and he could take some time off, and they were going to go have a 5-star dinner. So I don't know what happened with that. They decided to storm in anyway.
So Ricochet comes out yapping, and GOA beats down everybody.
They did. Now, an important detail here, I guess, is that when Dalton came out, Dalton always does a walkout promo where he's talking at the camera while his music is playing. And at this one, he was talking about like his old friend or somebody from school who turned out to be country star Michael Ray. I don't know who that is, but he was in the audience. And this is basically setting up. Then Ricochet comes out and he's yapping about, what are you guys doing in the ring? This is my ring.
Yeah, this is my time. Get out.
Then
he
also goes over to really razz on and provoke
Michael Ray.
So it's all kind of...
And they're all being held back by the refs. It's so stupid. I love it.
And then we just go to commercial. Now, it's all kind of just weird energy. Yeah. And it's also kind of just fun, whatever. It is what it is, probably. But I saw some speculation, and I also had the thought of like, we're all kind of wondering... Ricochet is supposed to defend the national belt for the first time at Ring of Honor Final Battle, and it hasn't been announced who he'll be defending it against.
Right. Most of the matches have been announced, and this one conspicuously has not.
Yeah, at the moment, it's effectively in action. He could just be doing it against a jobber for all we know.
God, that would be so bad.
It should not be. It absolutely should not be. There's plenty of talent in Ring of Honor.
I assume they're waiting to announce.
But the speculation, at least following that match that I saw online, that I also thought of is what if it's Dalton Castle, which he's a figure. he is certainly a personality, and so is Ricochet, so it could happen.
We haven't seen him in much action since he came back. It's true. It would be very odd to me that if they would have a major singles match.
It's true.
Him.
Yeah, it would be an odd pairing.
I don't really see it.
It would be an odd pairing, giving Ricochet's like really dynamic, energetic heart. Like he's but he's also... I think it's more likely,
we were also kind of speculating that maybe it would be Lee Johnson.
Yeah, could be.
I feel like that would be a good matchup.
Yeah, that would be. It makes more sense to pair Ricochet with someone who also does some high-flying stuff and some acrobatic stuff. It would be kind of funny to have Ricochet be doing his, oh God, no, please stuff, like running out of the ring, running away from Dalton Castle of all people. It would be kind of funny.
Of all people. He doesn't want his heart broken.
He doesn't want... Please don't break my heart.
Please don't break my heart.
But okay, so all of that aside... we have a number of fun things that have been announced for Final Battle.
Yes, and in fact, so Final Battle is next Friday, December 5th. And on the preceding Thursday, we are also expecting an Honor Club episode.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be a lot of Ring of Honor.
Yeah, 2 days in a row of Ring of Honor. One of the things that we're excited to finally see happen, which is also going to be coming to a head the Thursday prior, we finally have the setup for the semifinals of the Women's Pure Championship.
God. Yes.
It was announced way back in April and has taken forever.
We have ranted about this before. I'm glad we finally last night had the quarterfinal we were waiting for with Serena Deeb versus Yuka Sakazaki.
Which I think we were surprised by the result.
I think everybody was surprised by the result. That was a bit of a shock upset.
Yeah.
That they had some good graps. Serena Deeb used all her rope breaks quite early, which was shocking. And then for the final pin, it was like she forgot she had used all her rope breaks, and Sakazaki had her in the pin, and Serena Deeb just casually put her foot up on the bottom rope as if she was breaking it. Yeah. And nope, And they got the 3 count, and the bell rang, and it was over.
And Serena worked it so well that I almost thought, oh, she's really upset. She really forgot, and she really thought she was supposed to win or something. It was good work.
And Sakazaki looked like, what do you mean I won?
Yeah, she totally.
It was like.
I mean, I almost think, geez, did the ref really screw it up?
I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. I think they just set it up in this very interesting way where nobody seemed to think that's what was supposed to happen.
Yeah, but it really, speaking of tournaments where like the C2, where I think everybody thinks they know how it's going to come to a head, I think from what, at least between what we've discussed and maybe some things I've seen, I just assumed it was going to end up being like Deeb versus Purrazzo.
I think that's what most people assumed.
Yeah, but now that Deeb is out, I am back in, well, I don't know. Could be anybody.
Yeah. So the semifinals are going to be Queen Aminata versus Deonna Purrazzo and Billie Starkz versus Yuka Sakazaki. I hope Queen Aminata, I don't know if they already recorded this. They could have recorded it before, but Aminata's been injured and not cleared to wrestle. So I'm hoping that that doesn't impact the results of the tournament in some way.
Yeah. She's been talking about it on her vlog. Now, again, it still could all be very work.
Absolutely. So, yeah, we'll see. I would enjoy, and I also feel like people think Billie Starkz is going to go to the finals because she's like a big name in Ring of Honor, not because she's like a known pure wrestler.
Yeah.
So I think Yuka Sakazaki taking this would be really interesting and unexpected and enjoyable. Yeah. And especially if Yuka and Take both take their tournaments, like that would be such a romantic couples event.
End to the year. Yeah.
So that's what we're getting we're getting both semifinal matches next Thursday on HonorClub, and the final will be on Final Battle on Friday.
Right. So we don't know, of course, who will be in the final on Final Battle yet, but could be any of those combos.
I'm ready. We already knew that Athena and Persephone would be vying for the Women's World Championship, which is going to be wonderful.
It promises to be a banger of a match. Persephone is a powerhouse. She's great.
She's great. She's got so much charisma and so much attitude, and she's great in the ring.
Battle of attitudes.
It's going to be a good attitude battle, and we need that.
Yeah, and Athena is, I think, still coming off. She came off a win recently, but she has been shook recently as well. So I think there's still a little cloud hanging over her.
Yeah, and it remains to be seen what they're doing with this championship. Like, if Athena keeps holding on to it, it's like, well, okay, so then we don't really see you much in AEW because you're holding on to this other championship. But I wonder what they're going to do with that.
I wonder. Yeah, she's a star, and I love the story that she's the forever champion and she's had it for a long time. Some of the best Ring of Honor episodes are kind of the Athena show.
Yes.
So there is truth to that, but it's also like, she's so good. Let's get her on TV, do other things. I don't know.
Yeah, we already talked about Mercedes Moné and Red Velvet for the World TV Championship, which was also announced. And then we're going to have the 6-man tag championship belts defended by STP, being the permutation of STP being Shane Taylor and the Infantry versus Skyflight, which is going to be awesome. I'm psyched about that matchup.
Yeah, Top Flight are so good. Dante Martin and Darius Martin.
Yeah.
Every match they're in, I'm thrilled. So, and the Infantry as well. So this is just going to be another banger,
Another banger.
Another banger.
Certified banger.
I say that all the time, but I'm looking forward to it, is what I'm saying.
I'm looking forward. And I wouldn't mind if STP has the belts taken off them. I'm okay whatever happens.
Either way, yeah. I'd like to see them keep it a little bit longer, but that's my personal bias from having seen them win it in person. I'm like, they're my guys, but it'd be
fun. As far as the Pure situation over on the men's side, they had a huge announcement last night that not for the belt, but Lee Moriarty and Nigel McGuinness would have a 30-minute Iron Man match at Final Battle to, I guess, prove a point.
Yeah, I guess Nigel was a previous Pure champion, and Mr. Tyga Style took it off of him, I guess they've only had 2 matches and each of them won once. So Nigel's promo was basically, let's sort this out once and for all, who's the best.
Right.
Which works.
And since Commander has the right to a Pure Rules championship challenge, I guess they are not involving the belt in this match, because that would be Nigel skipping the line.
Yeah, I have the feeling that there was going to be a Commander versus Moriarty Pure match at Final Battle, but it seems like the story is that Rush was going to probably be going against Brodido, but Rush is injured. So they've had to shake things up a little, and they decided to, I don't know if it was originally also going to be a survival of the fittest thing, but so the men's world championship is going to be contested in a survival of the fittest match with Commander and Brodido, as well as Hechicero. And then also Blake Christian, Sammy Guevara, and Beast Mortos. Which is interesting.
I'm in full like guy who's only seen Boss Baby mode, because I'm like, it sounds like the Young Lions Cup in 2007.
From Chikara,
so,
which is a blast. Go watch it.
So no, but like to see titles possibly be set by big eliminator matches is kind of funny.
Yeah, and I didn't get this until someone pointed it out later online, that survival of the fittest, I guess, is a thing that they've done in Ring of Honor mostly annually for a long time. I'm not sure it's always a title competition, but basically it's one of those matches where everybody needs to get specifically eliminated. So it's not just like somebody needs to get the pin on somebody. Everybody needs to have the pin put on them and get put out. So if Brodido were to drop it, that would mean someone's getting the pin on him. But we shall see.
I don't know if I think Brodido's going to drop it or not.
Yeah, I don't know. Before I had that corrected for me, I sort of assumed, oh, well, this is an opportunity, like with Toni Storm, to sort of have him drop the belt without being pinned. Without being pinned. And I mean, he is showing up in AEW a lot, so it could make sense. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see where that all goes.
Yeah, I'd be happy to see Hechicero take it. Personally, but
me too.
I also just want everything good for Brodido. So whatever it means, I want it to be either like a stepping stone to what's next, or like I don't want him to go away.
Yeah.
You know?
And the odd thing about this, now so there's also going to be a World Tag Team Championship match at Final Battle. The odd thing about this is, so Sammy Guevara and Beast Mortos are in this survival of the fittest thing, but they're also trying to keep the belts, I guess, because Rush is out, and Rush had the belt with Sammy.
Well, they're not keeping the belts. It's the same situation that happened at Death Before Dishonor, where technically they have to vacate the titles, but they have like first right to go after it again. So Sammy and Beast Mortos would go as
Yeah, and so they're going to have a tag match with Tommy Billington and Adam Priest, who have also been getting a push in the last several months in various combinations, recently with Jay Lethal.
I don't understand why this isn't the swirl.
Me neither. I don't know. I mean,
I don't get it.
I think I don't know. I guess because there's been a push. Somebody wants to push Tommy Billington and Adam Priest, and that's great. Adam Priest is also great. The Swirl are just so good. I mean, every time, the last 2 or 3 times we've seen them, one of us has been like, Swirl versus Young Bucks when? Like, they feel
it's a very similar vibe.
Good to watch and charismatic.
Very similar vibes.
But Blake's in the 6-man. We don't know what Lee Johnson might be doing. Maybe he's the national.
I think that's kind of why I think he might be in the national match.
So that's Ring of Honor. Speaking of Adam Priest.
Let's talk about our JCW experience. Now that we kind of wrapped up AEW and Ring of Honor, I had such a blast. We had never been to an indie match before.
We've certainly watched several.
We sure
old
have.
And new. We've recently seen a couple of JCW adjacent things. We saw House of Glory, some of that.
Yeah, we've seen a bunch of stuff.
We've seen variations
and
of
obviously, as I've said a million times, I've watched a shitload of old Chikara. But to like finally be in a space like that where you have that Legion Hall vibe, that it's a Knights of Columbus Hall, the Mecca, but you know, that same vibe of like, it feels like you're at a 12-step meeting and you should be setting up the chairs and making coffee, you know, like I truly, as we got there pretty early, and as we were walking over, I thought, well, I should be offering to help.
Absolutely.
Maybe next time we will. I don't know.
Fire up the big coffee maker.
It felt like we were supposed to help out. And it was just like a really interesting kind of community event to kind of walk into.
It was such a good, I mean, I loved the pay-per-view experience. I loved the feeling of being a part of a big event with big memorable moments. But it was so cool to like, I totally, you know, most of the indie wrestling that we've seen has been the older Chikara stuff. And I totally, because of that, I know it's because that's most of what I've seen, I totally had that feeling of like, this feels like being at one of those events. You know, and it just felt really good and like small and intimate, but also just like scrappy.
Yeah, and in our last episode, I think I said that we had decided to just go ahead and get ringside seats because it wasn't that much more expensive. I wasn't expecting that they would put us like directly front and center opposite the hard cam.
Yeah. And you with your red fire
and
ant
I'm wearing
shirt.
a fire ant shirt. It's my only indie wrestling related shirt. So I was like, well, let me wear it to the indie event. And so we are just like fully in this match.
All the matches.
Or in the whole event.
Yeah,
we're fully there.
Yeah.
And our position right in the middle meant that particularly Adam had many wrestlers literally in his lap.
Yeah, if you're going to get out of the ring and fall into the audience and you're dead center, well, you're going to land on me. It was the seat and the person next to me.
And I think, these wrestlers will kind of look quickly and calculate like who looks like a safe person to land on. And like, you're a bigger guy.
It's true.
They probably like the first one to do this was Hoodfoot, who has to be like 350. Like he's a big man, and you could tell that like he's kind of like, okay, who am I not going to hurt as much? Kind of. And not that
he's just sitting on me for a minute, and then he slides off me onto the floor.
Yeah.
I think one of the things I wanted to talk about with this experience was the sort of first timer experience, and there's a lot of like, how do you behave? I don't know how to behave here.
What do I do with my hands?
What do I do?
Yeah.
And so when someone also is then like sitting on me, let's say, and like sliding, I'm like, I don't want to touch them. I don't want to interact. I don't know. I don't want to be
inappropriate. But what do you do?
Inappropriate.
Yeah. And it really taught some important lessons about like how you're supposed to be as a person in the audience at a wrestling event.
Yeah. And I think I got a very direct lesson right away because, we're just, not to speak for you, but I'm just sitting there like a total, like, overwhelmed goober, excited to be at my first indie wrestling event, sitting in the chair, clapping my ass off while the first two like people are coming out. The first two people
come out, and it's Adam Priest.
Yep.
And Darian Bengston.
Yeah, who we later learned are called
the Lemon Pepper Princes.
The Lemon Pepper Princes. They may have said that, but again, I was sort of like information overwhelmed by everything that was happening. But they're coming out and we're clapping.
Also, the audio was was wrong with their PA speaker, so we could barely hear anything.
That's true.
But we're both just like, I'm excited to be here, and we're just kind of clapping. And also like, we were just talking about Adam Priest.
Right.
Maybe him coming out in a huge fur coat should be the clue that he's coming out as a heel, but I forgot that in JCW he's been a heel.
I don't know who's a heel and who's not for some of these things.
Right. It wasn't necessarily obvious because the whole crowd wasn't like united in cheering or booing for people, which is on them, frankly.
Yeah, frankly, it's everyone else's fault.
Like we're new.
We're new.
So I didn't remember that Adam Priest has done heel stuff in JCW. Anyway, so we're both just kind of like, yay! And I guess Darian Bengston looked at you and was like, I don't want you to clap for me.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, right. Okay, we're not supposed to clap. Cool.
It did sound kind of good-natured. It wasn't but it wasn't even just a fully heel line. It was like, I don't want you to clap for me.
Yeah,
like,
and I feel very much like this event was important for me, and now I know a little better that for next time, like, oh, I'm gonna think of how I can kind of, if I'm at ringside, I'm gonna be able to stand up and get in somebody's face and razz them or say something. I don't want to just boo people. I want to have something to say to them,
And you said something about the sacred. You're in the sacred ring or the sacred area, and there is something.
You have a duty.
Yeah. And there is also something about it being like a wonderful opportunity. I mean, this is true of all wrestling, but it felt more visceral with the indie show. Mm-hmm. This opportunity for you to just like freely express your anger at like a proxy, That's what the heel is doing.
And that's what they want.
Yeah.
That's why Pac gave the biggest side eye to that fan who stuck his hand out.
Right.
You're not supposed to. And that's why every time Pac gets in the ring, he puts his hand up to his ear to hear you boo. And I can't boo Pac. Like, I haven't been able to do that. But if I'm at ringside, I will get up and say something. You know what I mean? Like, I might not boo.
Yeah.
But I'll get up and start like trash talking at you.
Yeah.
And that's the sacred duty.
Yeah. And like, so we don't have to necessarily go through like, we don't have to go through all the matches we saw. I'd like to talk about a couple of things that were really memorable.
Yeah.
The big takeaway for me, and I think we both had this, was that was really fun. We want to do it again.
Yes.
What a great experience. And the takeaway for anyone listening to this is if you can go see an indie wrestling show,
you must
go do it.
Go do it.
Especially especially, and this is one where the vibes were right for us also, I think, which is an important aspect. But, and it was, so we saw Brian Keith teaming with Hoodfoot falling in our lap. It was fun to see Brian Keith in person.
Brian Keith was also in our laps at some point.
Yes, later on.
After he dastardly.
That bastard.
Yeah, after they betrayed. Well,
you know what? Fuck you, Brian Keith.
Fuck you, Brian Keith. That was fun. They came back later to be dastardly bad boys.
Yeah, and so there was a fun. I think one of the reasons we decided to do, well, not even the reason we decided to do, but we were expecting early on, Aminata was announced for this. And then
the first match that was announced was Queen Aminata versus Maki Ito. And I said, buying that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, she still, I guess, wasn't clear to wrestle.
And I guess this is one of the things that might be like, well, if it's not, maybe it's not a work, because she also canceled.
No, it's definitely not a work. She would have been there. And it was a bummer, but we still had a great time, and hopefully she'll be back.
There was this great thing that I don't know if it was kind of like if they were going to do it anyway or what, but this one thing where
Beastman Husk
comes out, and he's got like, caveman outfit stuff on. He's got a big giant bone. And the whole idea, I guess, is it's a challenge of who can hoist him, who can basically suplex
Someone
him.
Needs, it was like a body slam challenge. Who can body slam this man?
Yeah. So a bunch of random people are participating, even the announcer at one point, which is fun. But
Gabby
Forza, she had a great bit with her party hats.
Her gnome hats, So fun.
But this turned out to be a thing for Maki Ito to do.
Yes.
She comes
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert if you're going to go watch this. But yeah, and so that was really fun. We had also seen Two Bald Fucks, Bam Sullivan and Matt Tremont, and something else that we'd seen. So when they came out, it was like, Two Bald Fucks, that was nice. It's always nice to have seen some of these people in other things.
We've seen a bunch of these people in other things. There was Nixie XS and Valentina Rossi. We've seen both of them. Of course, Joey Janela and Marcus Mathers. We've seen Jordan Oliver.
Absolutely, yeah. He's been on Ring of Honor.
Yeah, we've seen a bunch of these people before. And we've watched GCW and JCW stuff before.
And the tag team with Jordan Oliver,
Busta and the Brain,
that we had seen them in another recorded, televised, streamed event, and they're a really good tag team. That was really fun.
I really enjoyed the 4-way tag match that was like a qualifier for the to challenge for the tag team championship. With Two Bald Fucks, Josh Woods and Matt Mako, who were like that was the only group that kind of got consistent heel heat, I think, the whole time. And then I really enjoyed Top Team and Violence is Forever as tag teams. Jay Lucas and Teriyaki for Top Team, and then Dominic Guarini and Kevin Koo for Violence is Forever. I really want to see more of both of those teams. I thought they were great.
What a part of what made the experience so good is it's also just like, what a lovely thing to have people you haven't seen before come out, and you're just like, well, I want more of you. It's just
and
a
that's
fun,
what it's
good
all
feeling.
about. That's what it's all about, right?
Speaking of people we want more of.
Oh no. Well, okay. The championship match we had seen in the previous event. Billy Stark's surprise took the JCW championship. She won a title shot by winning the Luna Vachon Invitational. And then later in that same event, she came and cashed it in and took out Charles Mason for the belt. We've seen Charles Mason in a couple events before. He is so much more charismatic in person.
I mean, I think that's generally true of charisma. When people have it, it kind of strikes more in person. But
he's still charismatic but for whatever it's worth, like, he's still charismatic in the streaming stuff. But I hadn't really.
I will fully admit, I mean, I've razzed you a little bit for it. I've done some friendly rousing online.
You've razzed me for feeling completely appropriate levels of thirst about Charles Mason, and frankly, you're thinking about him just as much as I am.
Absolutely.
So I don't want to hear it.
I mean, I am fully admitting I came away from that just being like, he's really cool to see. I want to see more of him. He's got it.
He's got it. And he and Billy together are great fun.
Yes.
I know they've had a feud going on for years, and I know very little about it, but it's very violent.
It's very violent. Well, and that's part of what also particularly for this match, and like part of my investment during this match in Charles Mason was also the friction and chemistry between them and Billy Starks.
Oh,
and,
absolutely.
You know, literally that was one of the times where like Billy, having gotten her ass handed to her for a while, gets one over on Charles and chases him across the ring basically, and they end up in front of us, and like she lets out this mighty roar, and it's just like it's the best of them both.
Really. And she's screaming and I'm screaming. Like we're basically in each other's faces, and I have my fists up in like a righteous fury pose, and we're screaming together. I think you can kind of see that on the YouTube broadcast.
Definitely.
Which is
really memorable stuff. Good vibes.
That girl, I've heard other people talk about the crazy bumps she takes, and I just hope she still has a spine in 10 years, because she was getting thrown all over the place.
Yeah.
And I did appreciate the moments where, like, you could tell that Charles Mason took a moment to be like, "You okay?"
Yeah. And this is, you know, well, I want to say more about this match, but one of the things I will say about Billy Starks is she's fun to see on Ring of Honor and a bit on AEW, and we've seen that. But this goes back to my minor gripe that, like, why doesn't Hook work the indies? There's a respect. There's just something like, I don't know how to put it, but just like knowing that seeing her in indie matches, both taped and now live, it's like it really makes the person grow on you. And I'm like, I love Billy now. I want more of her.
Yeah, and plus she's her gimmick is different on the indies too. She's pure face at JCW.
That's true. I think she's been face in Ring of Honor too. We haven't really seen that, but
yeah, you don't have that whole minion thing going on. So,
but like, yeah. I'll just say that. I'll leave it there.
And we're really tempted. So Adam's birthday is coming up in December, and it's actually the same day as the next JCW event, and we're kind of tempted to go back to the Mecca. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess the last thing to say about that match was that it's in this match where it ended basically in a DQ, I guess.
I think it technically was not a DQ because I think they knocked out the ref.
Okay,
and then
nobody won is the point.
Right. So it was such a heel moment for Charles Mason, because it was basically like, I don't even need to be disqualified. I'm just leaving you with the belt because I'm making a statement and I'm going to kill you later. You know, it was like very kind of disrespectful.
Yeah, it was. But he had help. And,
he did. He had help.
Brian Keith came back out.
With Hoodfoot, who I guess Hoodfoot in particular was very close with Billy Starks in story, and like was betraying her,
right?
Which we didn't catch all those. We don't know all the lore,
but he was doing some apologies.
But it was like shocking.
Like,
he was like, I gotta pay my bills. I'm sorry, and we're all like, fuck your bills.
He sold out. Fuck him.
Yeah.
But and it's through that interaction that we ended up with Brian Keith going in my lap and like right down between us, and I don't know whether to pat his arm like some people do, or I just took hands off, but it was fun, great fun.
I don't want to touch people without talking about it.
And this is also one of those chant lessons where I think you were talking about the little girl.
Yes, there were a bunch of little girls in the row behind us who were very excited about Billy Starks, and I'm not always cheering along with children. Like, I don't always want the same thing that children want, but if there are a bunch of little girls, I'm not cheering against them.
And we say that because there were certainly some dudes in the audience cheering for Charles Mason. And
like, new champ, like people.
New champ.
It's your typical guys who don't want to see a woman hold the championship, and certainly don't want to see a young woman like Billy Starks holding the championship. I've been fantasy booking that Charles Mason is going to take the belt back off Billy Starks, and then Mercedes Moné is going to come for him.
Please.
Which would be, I will be at my peak thirst. If that happens, I can't tell you how obnoxious and thirsty I'm going to be. And I will not apologize.
No apologies needed. I mean, I will honestly admit I don't expect that to happen, but
I don't either. But
I want it to happen. I agree that
I would
should
love
happen.
to see Mercedes come
We
for that
deserve
belt
to have that
in
happen.
an intergender sort of way.
Yeah.
And the two of them, I don't know, Mercedes Moné and Charles Mason are kind of two sides of the same coin.
There are thematic links there. It's true.
You could tell a really fun anti-capitalist story by having Charles force Mercedes to see that she doesn't think she's evil, but she is. Yeah. And then our main event was Lee Moriarty versus Gringo Loco, and by this point, we had just gone through all of Full Gear and this whole JCW event, I had forgotten what the main event was going to be.
Yeah.
So when Lee Moriarty comes out, I was like, oh yeah, thank God. This is awesome.
This is awesome. It was awesome.
And he nearly killed us.
Yeah, this is the one where we actually had like a tope coming at us with
very little warning.
Very little. There was warning.
There was warning, but it was less warning than you usually get. And I'm not mad. It was great. It made for an exciting little bit of cardio for us as we like burst out of our seats to get out of the way.
Yeah.
And I run in one direction and Adam goes in the other direction. It was very fun. And then, and Lee Moriarty is absolutely magnificent. And Gringo Loco was great too. And that was another good a match where they were showing each other respect and appreciation.
Yeah.
I think, that's what it's all about.
It was really a fun match. And I love them both.
Yeah.
More of both everywhere.
Yeah, a bunch of us in the crowd were like, both these guys.
There was some.
And Lee Moriarty's kind of looking at us being like, no.
I don't know about that.
I don't like that.
I don't know about that.
But you can't really root against...
We respect each other, but don't cheer us both.
You can't really root against one of those guys in good faith, Anyway, we had an absolute blast. And frankly, after the emotional overwhelm of...
The emotional devastation.
Yeah, the pure devastation that was certain parts of Full Gear. It was kind of just what we needed.
Yeah, it was a lovely like dessert meal, if that makes any sense. I don't know.
Yeah. So we'll look forward to the next one for sure.
You can tell that we were left thrilled and wanting more.
Yes. So this has gone on far too long at this point. I think we'll release this episode a little early. Right now we're recording on Saturday afternoon, and we'll probably release this on Sunday. And then we'll kind of go back to our normal like Monday, Tuesday situation next week. I'm sure we'll have plenty more to talk about between AEW and Ring of Honor, and then whatever indie stuff we manage to catch ourselves up on. Bean of the week is going to have to wait. I still have that box of new beans. I haven't opened it yet. Life is a lot sometimes. Somehow, we have made it through another episode of Chatter Machine.
Somehow.
Please go ahead and find us on Blue Sky and Instagram at Chatter Machine. You can email us at chattermachine@gmail.com. Kindly subscribe and give us an adoring review wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Thank you, Sasha Ende, for the theme music. As always, more details on that in the show notes.
And thank you all for listening. It's fun to make this, and I still can't believe we're doing it.
Yay!
Yay!
Bye.